The offensive line, and that's been one of the problems for the Giants, particularly the right side.
Well, the right guard, Chris Godfrey, got the starting job back coming off a knee operation, doing a fine job. Little play action there. Holds the linebackers. As Noga, the middle linebacker, blitzes. Sims throws a deep end route, something the Giants think they can do today is throw those big, deep 20-yard ends.
3rd and 9, and Tony Galbraith in the backfield, and Phil McConkey, number 80, comes in as the 3rd wide receiver and goes in motion. Sims with time, and off the fingertips of Adams. And downfield, defending on the play was Mark Jackson, one of the replacement players who is starting at corner in place of Cedric Mack. And so it's 4th down, and the Giants will have to kick. Sean Landeta comes in to do that for New York. And Bai Sikahema, one of the best in the league, goes back for the Cardinals. So the Cardinal defense holds on the first series. Landeta with a great kick. Sikahema back to the 24. Trying to turn the corner and does. Into Giant territory. Sikahema may go all the way. Touchdown, Cardinals. No penalty markers down, and the Cardinals excite whatever fans are here. 76 yards. He had a big kickoff return against Washington last week. Watch this.
Landeta with an outstanding kick. Normally you would say in a situation like this that he outkicks his coverage, meaning he kicked it too far, but this was an excellent hang time. Just an outstanding setup by Sikahema. Coming up the middle, draws everyone inside, gets outside, and now the punter, Landeta, is the only one remaining to make the tackle. Nice move there by Sikahema. He goes in, 76 yards.
Al Del Greco, who was signed this week, former Green Bay Packer, adds the extra point. Gallery will kick the long ones, and Del Greco will kick the short ones, and Sikahema will run both short and long, as the Cardinals have taken a 7-0 lead in the ballgame.
One of the real keys to punt returning is, number one, you have to give the impression of where you're going. Sikahema comes up inside, shows everyone he's coming in the middle, draws the coverage there, and then with the great speed gets outside. Now he shows a really good running back ability to make those little moves, little inside move, little outside move, and then he's all the way for the touchdown.
He made the Pro Bowl last year because of his return ability, and the Giants have really been struggling in that department this year. 76-yard touchdown on a punt return by Bai Sikahema. The Cardinals lead 7-0, and Jim Gallery will be kicking again. That was the longest punt return of his career. Roussan and Ingram are back for the Giants. Roussan on the left.
Jim Gallery, for the Giants, number 82, Mark Ingram.
Short kick, and it's over to Ingram's side again on the 9. Ingram brings it back and is knocked out of bounds, and the Giants will start in better position than they did the last time. Tim McDonald making the stop, and the Giants and Phil Simms will try again from the 31.
By number 46, Tim McDonald.
Simms coming in, as you can see, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's thrown the ball well. Just one of the problems he's had this year, Dick. He just hasn't had his running game, and therefore more pressure is placed on him to carry the load throwing the football, something that he doesn't want to do.
When you don't have a running game, you don't have the protection, and it all breaks down. Adams is the lone back, gets the call on the handoff, and George Adams brings it out to the 35. Anthony Bell makes the tackle on George Adams.
It used to be when Adams was in the backfield, the defensive teams would say, well, when he's in there, they're going to throw the football because he is an outstanding pass receiver coming out of the backfield. But what happens is Parcells says the guy is an equally good runner, and now with him in there, we'll run it, we'll throw him the football, we'll throw him off balance.
2nd down and 7 at the 35. Morris, with his first carry of the ball game, gets to the 39-yard line, will be shy by nearly 3 yards on the play. Tackled by Bob Clasby and Leonard Smith. Joe Morris, who has struggled early in the year and playing a little better, but nothing like he did a year ago on the ground. And there's that score again. The Packers beat the Minnesota Vikings 16-10. New Orleans continues to roll in Miami, could knock Philadelphia out of the playoffs. 3rd down and 3 for the Giants on their own 39. Sims in the shotgun. And Galbraith out of the backfield has a 1st down, and the Giants are in Cardinal territory at the 46. Gregory Johnson makes the stop. Good for 15 yards.
Johnson had Galbraith man for man. They're trying to use their defensive backs to cover Galbraith out of the backfield, thinking that they can do it with Johnson. But that time, Galbraith made that little move and got inside. And if they see this, every 3rd down situation, we're going to see Sims throwing to Galbraith out of the backfield.
Giants have a 1st down on the Cardinal 46. 3 minutes gone by, 1st quarter. Cardinals lead 7-0. Carson, who's now in the game, in motion. Sims drills it, and that pass to Odessa Turner is caught, and another Giant 1st down. The rookie from Northwest Louisiana grabs an 18-yard catch, and Mark Jackson on the stop that time.
You're looking at Odessa Turner. He was one of the 3 first receivers taken in the first 4 rounds of the draft by the Giants. And Parcells says about Turner, he is better than Jerry Rice of the 49ers. The guy's got great athletic ability. Just give him another year.
That's a mouthful. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Adams back in. Looks like an inside blitz by the Cardinals, and pass is incomplete, intended for Lionel Manuel, and Carl Carter covering for St. Louis. Carter has gotten a lot of work his way. He's in his 2nd year and had his problems, and a Giant is shaken up. It looks like Brad Benson, the beleaguered left tackle.
Looking at Parcells, he has to be concerned. One of the things that he's had trouble this year is in his offensive line, especially on the right side with Carl Nelson being out, and of course with Godfrey being injured and Damian Johnson have to taking his spot at right guard, and of course now Benson at left tackle. Hasn't had the kind of year he had last year when he was voted to the Pro Bowl, but has still played well. And the concern is, hey, they haven't been able to run the football. That's the big, why? Why haven't they been able to run? And quite honestly, the answer lies in the fact that Parcells doesn't believe his team has been emotionally involved in the running attack. Not that they don't have the skills, it just, hey, just hadn't been there.
Well, Carl Nelson, when he contracted Hodgkin's disease, it's not the kind of an injury that the rest of the team can just say, well, that's just a football injury. That was a psychological downer, and that kind of set the tone, perhaps along with Perry Williams' injury. The cornerback got hurt right before the opening game with the Bears, and those two combined really put the Giants in a physical and psychological hole early in the year. 11:16 to go in the 1st quarter. They're still working on Brad Benson. Cardinals, with an electrifying 76-yard punt return by Vi Sikahema, have taken a 7-0 lead in this ball game. And you can be sure that the Giants are going to be looking for offensive line help in the draft. Let's take a look at the wild card scramble. Keep in mind the Minnesota Vikings, the 2nd wild card team right now, with the Saints leading the way. Cardinals came in 2 games behind Minnesota, and so did Dallas and Philadelphia. But if the Cowboys or the Eagles were to lose, that would eliminate them from the playoffs because of tie-breaking situations. The Cardinals have a better conference record, or would if they end up tied with Minnesota. So they may have the real hope of all the contenders to catch the Vikings. Doug Reisenberg, a rookie from California, is going to replace Brad Benson. 2nd down and 10 at the 28 for the Giants. Sims, and nobody there. Billiard, the left guard, was downfield. And the pass not thrown to any receiver in particular.
But you could see right in the middle of your screen, linebackers coming right up inside. That's Noga coming from the inside. And then on the outside, you have Bell coming from one side. And then on the other side, Junior. 3 men blitzing disrupts this screen pass. No one can get out because each of those guys had to block the blitzing linebackers.
3 wide receivers, and Galbraith in the lineup for the Giants. 3rd and 10. Pressure on Sims, gets hit, completes the pass nonetheless to Phil McConkey, and McConkey gets inside the 5 A blistering hit on Sims, but he got it away, and Lonnie Young made the stop after a 23-yard gain and a big play by Phil Sims.
You're going to see that Sims is going to drop back, and from the left of your screen, 45, Leonard Smith, the strong safety, and E.J. Jr., 54. There comes Leonard Smith, 45, and E.J. Jr., 54. An outstanding job by Sims recognizing the blitz, and then McConkey had to read the safety. He saw him disappear, cut his route off, and went to the inside and made the big catch.
His 5th reception of the year for McConkey. The Giants have a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Trying to get back in this game. Joe Morris up to the goal line is knocked back, but his forward progress will bring him to about the 1-yard line. There is McConkey being tended to on the sidelines by the Giants. They lost Stacy Robinson with a broken bone in his leg, and they're looking at those 3 rookies. Lonnie Young and Anthony Bell came up to meet Morris on that play. Under 10 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. 2nd and goal at the 1 for the Giants. Sprained knee for Brad Benson. He may come back. Here's Morris. Outside. In for the touchdown. And a penalty marker is down. And it is against the Giants holding.
They're going to throw a flag on Zeke Moat, number 84, and they're going to call him for holding on this play.
So the touchdown is called back, and our referee, Jerry Markbright, will mark it off. Morris has a tough time scoring.
We're going to see 84, Zeke Moat right here, drop back, and he'll pick up from the outside a safety that comes up, and he'll drive him to the outside. Godfrey will pull out and lead on the block, and you're going to see the right hand in the face. Right there, you can see the hand on the face mask, centered right there, catch him for holding.
It is 2nd down and 11, and Sims looking at the new defensive alignment by the Cardinals. They put in 3 new players. 2nd and goal at the 11. Sims incomplete. The intended receiver was Lionel Manuel, and covering on the play both Carl Carter and the strong safety Leonard Smith.
What happened with the route that time was Bavaro, the tight end, Dick. He went too deep with his route, and he took the strong safety out there with him, and there was no room for Sims that time to get the pass into the other receiver.
McConkey back in the lineup. He caught a 23-yard pass to set the Giants up here, but now it is 3rd and goal at the 11. Tony Galbraith back in the game for New York. Sims up the middle. Touchdown, Giants. Mark Bavaro, who had a great game, his best of the season, with 133 yards on 6 carries. And Gene Stallings is upset as the Giants finally score, now trails 7-6, an 11-yard strike to Bavaro.
Bavaro will be coming from the right of your screen. One of the defensive backs, Tim McDonald, 46, first-year guy, is the man that's responsible for covering Bavaro man for man. That time, Bavaro just beats him inside.
Raul Alegre's kick is perfect, and the Giants have come back to tie it up. Joe Morris had a touchdown nullified, but Bavaro continues his late season hot streak. In fact, if you project his yardage over 16 games, he would have had 1,000 yards this season. But Bavaro is there, and with that much time remaining in the 1st quarter, the Giants have come back to tie the Cardinals 7-7 on a 10-play, 69-yard drive. From your viewpoint, does it look like Sims can pass all day against what the Cardinals are doing defensively?
The Cardinals have come out here in this 1st quarter and done something they wanted to do right off the bat. They felt like that they could blitz Sims with all 3 linebackers, and by doing that disrupt their passing. But Phil Sims, being the veteran that he is, spots it, turns around and hits his receivers. Then when he gets down on the goal line, he gets his big tight end in there. He recognizes the rookie has Bavaro, calls a little play action pass, and throws a touchdown pass.
Allegre kicking off. Sikahema at the 1-yard line. Sikahema finds a hole, and here he goes again. kickoff return by Sikahema.
Guy's going to be worn out before the game's over. Kicking to the left. Only thing that's bad about this return is I can tell is that what's going to happen. The Giants are going to just kick away from this guy straight up the middle. He notices the little alley, goes up inside and out to the outside. But hey, this guy's tired. He just runs 76 yards with a punt for a touchdown.
Why didn't they take away that time?
Yeah.
Here is Stump Mitchell on first down and gets hit at the 46, a gain of about 3 as the Cardinals start in Giant territory. Cardinal offense and Neil Lomax, second-rated passer in the NFC, as Stump Mitchell, Ron Wolfley, the fullback, J.T. Smith, the best receiver right now in the league, and Roy Green, Louis Sharp, Todd Pete, a rookie, Derek Kennard, Lance Smith, and Tootie Robbins up front, and Robert Awalt, the outstanding rookie tight end. Gain of 2 on the play, second down and 8 for the Cardinals on the Giant 46. And on an end around, Roy Green inside the 30. And out of bounds inside the 20. 26 yards on an end around to Roy Green.
31. Roy Green on the end.
Little reverse action by Lomax. Fakes up inside to Wolfley, and then Green coming in from behind him, a little counter option to the outside. And look at this, inside, the great speed and quickness of Green allows him to split the tackles, and then it's a foot race down the sideline. Nice little bit of offense so far by the Cardinals.
Lomax on first down. Gets it to Mitchell. Mitchell got away from Harry Carson and fights his way inside the 10 and may have another first down for St. Louis. Terry Kennard, the Giant free safety, making the tackle.
Ideally, if you want to throw against the Giants, if you can, you'd like to get a back out, a little 5- and 6-yard swing hook. And what that does is gives Lomax enough time to set up quickly, turn around and fire the little pass and let the back sketch it and run with it.
8:02 to go in the first quarter, 7-7 the score, but the Cardinals threaten 2nd and 1 at the 10-yard line. Here's Mitchell. He's got the first down, and like the pinball on a machine, gets battered around, and his forward progress should be the 6-yard line when Kenny Hill makes the tackle. Stump Mitchell has not really had good games against the Giants. He has scored only 1 touchdown in his 7-year career, averaging a little more than 3.5 yards per carry, but he's coming off his best game of the season, going over 100 yards against the Redskins. First time he's gone over 100 this year. First and goal for the Cardinals at the 7. Inside handoff to the fullback Wolfley. He's in for the score. And just like that, Terry, the Cardinals come right back thanks to Sikahema. He's been a one-man offense.
A little motion, and all of a sudden you give the ball to a guy that's known for his blocking, and that's Ron Wolfley. You give it to him, everyone is surprised. They think he's going to block. He blows right by everyone into the end zone.
First touchdown of the year for Ron Wolfley, who made the Pro Bowl for his special teams play last year. 6-yard run, and Al Del Greco with clips down holding. Plan for Gallery to kick the long one. Del Greco with the short kicks today. And the kick by Del Greco is good, and the Cardinals regain the lead. 14-7 with 7 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Wolfley lined up. There's the eye. Mitchell's deep. Everyone thinking Mitchell's going to get the football. As you can see, Carl Banks hot in pursuit after Stump Mitchell. And then all of a sudden, Lomax says, oh, surprise you, fellas. He gives it to Wolfley. He cuts back inside for a big touchdown for the Cardinals.
Not only his first touchdown this year, but his first touchdown of his NFL career. And he went over and grabbed the ball and is going to keep it as a memento.
Big game for the Cardinals. And you can see right off the bat, the thing that they want to do is total confusion on behalf of their offense to the Giant defense. Wolfley's not supposed to carry the football. He's supposed to block.
Gallery will kick off for the Cardinals. That's the 3rd time he's kicked off in this first quarter. Lee Roussan and Mark Ingram go back for the Giants. 20-yard kick, and it's Ingram at the 6. And Ingram stopped at the 23. And right now, penalty marker is down. We are going to send it to New York for an update shortly, but a penalty flag is down on the return.
Penalty flag down.
Tackle on the play was by Don Holmes. Jerry Markbright getting the information.
5 yards, face mask, St. Louis, first down.
5 yards, face mask, first down. Giants will start from the 28-yard line.
Giants.
Bill Sims, who was 4 of 7 on that last scoring drive for 67 yards. Get away from Nico Noga, who is stopped at the 32. And right now, for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Dick, we've had a dramatic turnaround in RFK. Down 24-3, the Cowboys have rallied 17 unanswered points. A lot of time left in this game. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There's been a fight. We'll have that at halftime. Let's go back to Dick.
All right, Brent. Well, you had a fight from an NBA game. You're going to have a fight at halftime, and the Cowboys clawing back. 2nd and 6, and Joe Morris dives and is stopped at the 34-yard line by Carl Carter. Will bring out 3rd down and about 4. So Joe Morris, he had 35 touchdowns in the 2 previous years. 85 and 86, has only 1 touchdown rushing this year, and had 1 called back because of penalty before the Giants scored earlier.
People say so much about running backs. They'll be the first to tell you. People just don't listen. Hey, you got to have blocking. You got to have a little crack from the run, and they can't do it by themselves.
3rd and 3. Giants on their own 35. Sims, and it nearly intercepted by Mark Jackson on the pass intended for McConkey. And if Jackson had held on to it, he would have been home free.
21, Mark Jackson.
Outstanding move by Mark Jackson, taking over for Cedric Mack at right corner. Mack has a sprained ankle. Jackson reads Sims all the way, and then he breaks on the ball before the receivers. Right there, it comes underneath McConkey, and doggone your interceptor thing.
That was supposed to be a weak point. The corners for the Cardinals today. Sean Landetta kicks by Sekahema. Calls for the fair catch at the last minute at the 25-yard line. A 40-yard kick, and Sekahema, who has a 76-yard punt return for a touchdown and a 48-yard kickoff return already in this ball game. And the Cardinals go on offense again. Packers over Minnesota to keep a lot of people alive. New Orleans leading Houston in the 4th quarter. That should do it for the Eagles.
Buffalo over Indianapolis. That's a surprise, and look at the score there, 42-20, even larger than people thought.
And as Brendan mentioned, the Dallas Cowboys have come back in their game against the Redskins. 1st and 10 Cardinals on their 25 with 5:33 remaining in the 1st quarter. Awalt, the tight end, move. Stump Mitchell. And Carl Banks makes the stop just shy of the 30-yard line, and will continue to update you on the games, many of which are just getting underway now.
Number 58, Carl Banks.
Cardinals, of course, relying on the pass with Lomax and Smith and Green more than they have been on the run, and they've lost their top rusher, Earl Farrell, who was 6th in the conference. He's out for the year. 2nd and 6 at the 29 for St. Louis. Here comes pressure on Lomax, and down he goes. So, Terry, when you talked about those 21 sacks in the last 3 games, make it 22, thanks to Carl Banks, who is the NFC's Defensive Player of the Week.
Carl Banks, 58, coming right inside this time on Lomax, and also he got help from Mark Collins, 25, the left corner. As you see, he pops in right there. The pressure on Lomax. The blitz by Banks didn't surprise Lomax, but the blitz by the corner Collins did.
Loss of 9 on the play will bring up 3rd and 13 back to the St. Louis 22-yard line. 4 wide receivers for Lomax. And good snap from the center. Lomax, and a great catch by J.T. Smith. But he doesn't get much on the play, and he is stopped cold at the 24 by Greg Lasker, who's in on the nickel defense, and it'll be 4th down. So that play just about broke up from the very start.
Well, the defensive backs do a fine job of covering, but the thing that's so confusing for the linemen of the Cardinals is where's Lawrence Taylor and where are Carl Banks? Both of them that time got down in 3-point stance, and the Giants played a 5-man front, rushing them from the outside.
Bill McConkey goes back. He's having a fine year as a kick returner, and Greg Horn, who replaced Greg Cater as the Cardinal punter, goes for the long count. High kick. McConkey at the 33. Nowhere to go. And down at the 37-yard line by Nico Noga. A 43-yard kick, and the Giants, though, will have good field position, trailing the Cardinals 14-7. 3:22 to go, and Cardinals have been averaging about 30,000 here at Busch Stadium this season. Headlines today concerning moves to keep the Cardinals here. No comment by Bill Bidwell, although he did have something to say to us, which we'll tell you about in a little while. First down, Giants, and Adams gets the call and picks up a yard to the 39-yard line. Winding down to 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Freddie Joe Nunn and Leonard Smith on the play. The running game and how important it is reflected in the Giants from last year to this.
140 yards last year, 94 this year. Bill Parcells says, hey, we play up in New York on the East Coast, and you have to be able to run the football in cold weather to win.
He's right. 2nd and 10 at the 38, and a deep drop by Sims going for Manuel, and overthrows him. Carl Carter covering on the play, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Basically, the Giants, who have had leads in the 4th quarter of a lot of their games, have not been able to run the ball when they've been ahead, and that has really been the dilemma for the Giants.
When you practice running the football and you use more so effectively, 1,500 yards rushing last year alone, and you get used to that, it takes you out of your rhythm. You can't do the things you wanted to do if you can't run the football, and your offense is built around balance, running and passing.
3rd and 10 for the Giants on their 38. Odessa Turner to the bottom of your screen. Sims, and there's Galbraith. And Galbraith dives to the 45, but he'll be 3 yards shy of a first down as Gregory Johnson, former Seattle Seahawk, combines to make the tackle, and it's 4th down, and Sean Landeta will come in and kick it away. Landeta, who pinned the Eagles inside their 20 continually last week, kicking the Sikahema. And this one just sails over Sikahema's head into the end zone for a touchback. So he can't return this one, and it's a 55-yard kick, and the Giants will bring it out on the 20-yard line. Penalty marker now down. Illegal receiver.
Penalty flag down.
Ineligible receiver, I should say.
Downfield, meaning that the 2 outside guys, someone from the inside left too soon before the ball was kicked.
Penalty is declined. It's Byron Hunt downfield. To Bill Parcells, who's really having a nightmarish season, going from a Super Bowl team to a club that has been an also-ran. But you've said it perhaps best when he told the team that forget about the comfort. Your jobs are wide open now.
It's over, and what that's going to do is going to shake a lot of the players that have been very marginal. Maybe they have the talent, but they haven't been playing up to their ability.
1st and 10 Cardinals on their 20, leading 14-7. On the delay, Stump Mitchell is stopped cold by Eric Howard, the nose tackle. Howard, of course, is playing in place of Jim Byrd, who underwent back surgery on Thursday for a herniated disc. So Howard getting the opportunity here, and he's kind of a versatile nose tackle.
Well, they like him a lot. The thing they like most about him is that he He has that great attitude for a nose tackle, the quickness to rush the passer, 4 sacks this year. And they liken him, get this, to an offensive player, Mike Webster of the Steelers. Got the big arms, the big legs, and the bad attitude.
You know about him?
You bet.
2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line. A minute and a half remaining in the first quarter. Swing it out to Mitchell. Looking for room. And he stopped at the 25. Will bring up a 3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. And you mentioned Howard has 4 sacks this year, 2 of them against St. Louis. That time, Pepper Johnson and Carl Banks made the tackle on Stump.
By number 52, Pepper Johnson.
Lomax guessing that time that he would have a zone with that little wide flare screen, pulling the center. That time, Kennard outside to block, but that time Lawrence Taylor came inside on the blitz and messed it up.
3rd down and 4 at the 26. Lasker is spying Green. Lomax going deep and diving incomplete is Don Holmes. He was trying to beat Mark Collins on the right side, and incomplete will bring up 4th down, and the Cardinals will have to kick it away.
45,
Carl Banks, 58, going up the field. There's the block by Woofley. That's why he's in there. Look at nice block. Knocks Banks back. Lomax has time now to go deep downfield. If they continue to block like that, they're going to have a chance to go for the home run. Collins doing a fine job of covering.
It's 4th down, and Greg Horn will kick it away, and Phil McConkey goes back for the Giants with 33 seconds to go in the first quarter. Giants nearly got a piece of it. Roussan was coming in, and the kick goes out of bounds. And they'll mark it just shy of midfield. So the pressure on Horn will give the Giants good field position again. That was only a 26-yard punt by Greg Horn.
Horn, lucky for him, he's trying to kick the football to the left side. Now, had he turned to the right and had to kick it to the right, which a lot of kickers do, they either go to the right or the left side. Had he chosen to go to the right, that punt would have been blocked.
Lee Roussan stays in the lineup in the backfield along with Maurice Carson. Roussan may be the most complete back that the Giants have. Sims drills it to Bavaro, and it's tipped incomplete. And it was Leonard Smith who was there to get a hand on the ball.
and for Bavaro incomplete. Tipped by number 45, Leonard Smith. 2nd and 10.
Mark Bavaro, 89, on the end of the line of scrimmage, just releases outside, goes up the middle of the football field, and then bends back inside. Leonard Smith, the strong safety, 45. Notice how he's reading the quarterback, Sims, sees the ball in flight, then leaps up and tips it away.
Good play by Smith. That ball was headed into the hands of Bavaro. 2nd and 10. Adams on the delay. George Adams fights his way into Cardinal territory, and that may be the last play of the first quarter. Anthony Bell and then Lonnie Young provided the hit. So the Giants on the 46-yard line of the Cardinals, and that will do it in the first quarter. The only cheering was from Vi Sekahema and what he had done. That is the end of the first quarter. The St. Louis Cardinals leading the New York Giants 14-7, and we want to welcome those who just witnessed the continuation of the great rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. For you fans who've been sticking with the Giants-Cardinal game all along, the Redskins held off the Cowboys to win 24-20. As you know, the Redskins have already clinched the NFC Eastern Division, and we'll be back to Busch Stadium in a moment. We start the second quarter here in St. Louis. Dick Stockton along with Terry Bradshaw, and Brad Benson is back in his left tackle post for the Giants. Giants have a 3rd down and 4 on the Cardinal 47. Fake inside handoff, and Sims up the middle finds Bavaro for a first down. to the 39-yard line of St. Louis. Now, Lawrence Taylor, we have not mentioned his name. He's been in the game, has yet to make a tackle, so a quiet start for Taylor.
They've only sent him one time on a blitz, and that's a little screen we saw on the last possession by the Cardinals. Talking to their coaching staff, they believe that Taylor can play the whole game. His leg is that much better. They're not sure, but they feel like he can play the whole game. The only problem is they can't use him on the blitz. Too much stress on his leg, so they'll just use him sparingly there.
And you know, it's painful for him to stay out of this game. He wants to pay the price and play. 1st and 10 for the Giants on the Cardinal 39. Sims with time, drills it, and it's incomplete. Intended for Lionel Manuel. Anthony Bell, the linebacker, was downfield covering. If you've just joined us, 2 electrifying returns by Vi Sikahema have accounted for both Cardinal scores. Sikahema with a 76-yard punt return for a touchdown, and then a 48-yard kickoff return set up the second Cardinal score. The Giants, with a nice drive, countered on Sims to Bavaro. But it's 14-7 St. Louis, and 2nd and 10 for the Giants. Sims doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout, Terry.
Cardinals fake safety blitz with Leonard Smith, 45, coming up in the line. Sims saw that. Sims saw Leonard Smith come up at the very end. There he's circling. He's come up. He fakes it. Then he'll drop back out. He draws the audible by Phil Sims. And then Sims says, oh, my gosh, I've done the wrong thing. Now they check out and go to a zone.
And so the Cardinals force Sims and the Giants to call one of their 3 timeouts. Early here in the second quarter, the Giants at 2nd and 10 on the Cardinal 39. Sims goes up the middle, and he's got Bavaro close to a 1st down. Let's see where they spot it. He caught it at about the 30 or 29. Leonard Smith making the tackle.
Bavaro, 89, one of those smart tight ends, comes down inside, will read the safeties and the linebackers and sit down, and Sims and Bavaro have a read route. Notice he's running down the field, sees the linebackers, turns around, goes in front of Leonard Smith, the safety, and just sits it down. Little option read route while on the run between he and the quarterback.
He's caught 3 passes so far, and the Giants have a 1st down on the St. Louis 29, trailing by a touchdown. And a hard hit. Joe Morris is met at the 30, and a loss on the play by Bob Clasby. And Clasby met Morris before. In their first meeting this year, he stripped Joe Morris of the ball, caused a fumble that set up the only St. Louis touchdown of the first meeting.
They likened Bob Clasby to Butts, the defensive tackle for the Washington, Dave Butts, the tackle for the Washington Redskins. He's big, you can't move him out of there. He just sits there and takes up the whole side of the offensive line.
2nd and 10. They call it no gain. Sims going to Manuel at the sideline, and Manuel caught it inbounds at the 16. Mark Jackson was covering, but that's a 13-yard pickup and another Giant 1st down. Giants were easy winners the first time these teams played. They beat the Cardinals 30-7. In fact, Giants are looking for their 6th in a row over the Cardinals, and their margin of victory has been huge in recent years.
That old thing that if you beat me the first time at your place and you beat us bad when you come to play us, hey, I'm going to get even. I'm going to do my best to get even with you.
That's what you should think.
That's absolutely.
1st and 10 Giants on the Cardinals 16. Sims down at the 26. David Galloway with the sack.
Galloway 65 coming off the injured reserve list right in the center of your screen. 43 Lonnie Young. He's disappearing because he's doubling out to the right side, and Sims trying to find someone with single coverage, doesn't have the time, and finally Galloway gets in and makes the sack.
Galloway was sidelined since August with a fractured left arm. He returned briefly in passing situations against the Redskins last week, starting this week, and has a sack. Loss of 9. It's 2nd and 19 for the Giants. Sims wide open as Adams out of the backfield, and Adams gets to the 21-yard line. Gain of 4. Tim McDonald and Lonnie Young on the play, but Terry, it's evident that the Giants are strictly going through the air and not running the ball, which has been their problem.
When you haven't been running the football successful and you come into a contest like this, the first thing that a quarterback thinks is, we're not going to be able to run it. Yes, we want to run it. Yes, we're going to try. But psychologically and emotionally, you don't feel like you can do it. And that's probably one of the problems. None of them feel that they can really run it. They're going to have to throw it.
3rd and 15 at the 21. Galbraith back in, 3 wide now. Pressure on Sims, and he's got Bavaro, the tight end, but he stopped well short of a first down. 4th catch by Bavaro, but Mark Jackson had shadowed him well, and Travis Curtis, the nickelback, also combined to make the tackle. And it's 4th down, and Raul Alegre will come in to attempt a field goal. So of the Giants, 29 plays thus far, 8 have been running plays, 29 passing. Here's Alegre with Rutledge holding. This will be a 29-yard attempt by Alegre, who has been solid the last 3 weeks. And this kick is blasted through the uprights. 10:57 showing in the first half, and the Giants coming back trailing 14-10. There's the dangerous Vi Sikahema standing and waiting for the Cardinals as Raul Alegre gets set to kick off for New York. Alegre's 29-yard field goal has brought the Giants to within 4 points of the Cardinals here early in this second quarter. End over end. And it's taken by Sikahema, and he brings it out to the 31-yard line. Gary Reason's making the tackle. So the Cardinals go on offense 1st and 10. Cardinals 5-7 on the season. And their first game ever at St. Louis, when they moved from Chicago in 1960, was against the New York Giants. They were beaten in that game, and they had 26,000 fans, and that may be close to what we have this afternoon in what many people think could be the last game ever played here in St. Louis. A look at the St. Louis Cardinal bench, and of course they've had to play with a half-empty stadium this year, not knowing where they're going to play next year. Cardinals with a 1st and 10 on the 31, penalty marker down, and the pass intended for Robert Awalt is incomplete, and it was Carl Banks covering. Flag is down, though.
Penalty flag down.
J.T. Smith, illegal motion. We're having a slight problem with the official's microphone. Where will the Big Red be in 1988? And of course, a lot of people conjecture, but Baltimore, maybe if they do leave, and of course the people in St. Louis hope they don't, but or do they, the way they come out, but Baltimore would build a stadium just for football. Jacksonville has an old stadium. Penalty, by the way, is declined. People have talked about Phoenix, but the Cardinals then would be tenants with Arizona State at Tempe at the stadium there, and Baltimore could be a candidate. One of the popular sports columnists, John Stedman from Baltimore, is here today. So
if I were a player, I'd want to go with Warren. Send me to Jacksonville, Florida.
You can go. 2nd down and 10 at the 31-yard line. Pitch to Stump Mitchell. Wolfley blocking in front. And Mitchell fighting his way just shy of the 40-yard line, will miss a first down by 2 yards. But a good hard run by Stump Mitchell. And it was Pepper Johnson and Kenny Hill combining to make the tackle. Pepper Johnson strictly has not played his way off the team. He has replaced Gary Reasons at inside linebacker. He's in his 2nd year at Ohio State, and he continues to hold his job. Parcells says he'll have to play his way off, and he has not. 3rd down and 2 for St. Louis. Mitchell close to a first down. He had to get to the 41-yard line.
Mitchell, ball carrier. Tackle by Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, first tackle of the game for Taylor, who has been bothered by the hamstring, and it is a Cardinal first down.
Kind of a strange blitz by Lawrence Taylor that time. He blitzed from way off the line of scrimmage, and when you're trying to stop a team in a short yardage situation there, you would probably want to be up a little tighter, I would imagine. So far off, he got there a little bit late.
9:45 remaining in the first half. The Cardinals with a first down and the lead at 14-10 here in the second quarter. Lomax and his tight end Ewald started a run before he caught the ball. Kenny Hill was closest to him.
Ewald's been a real surprise for the Cardinals, guys. He's caught 34 passes for 4 TDs, and of all the tight ends in the last 6 weeks, he ranks third in the National Football League in tight end receptions. Today we got a real battle. We've got Ewald and we've got Bavaro, 2 fine tight ends. He dropped that one.
Ewald's played only 6 games, a rookie out of San Diego State. Rookie of the Year candidate, but Jay Novacek, the man he replaced, has been activated now. 2nd and 10 for the Cardinals on their own 41-yard line. 9:36 to go. Penalty marker down. We may have encroachment. The pass to Ewald is caught from Lomax, but markers are down, and so is Ewald at the 46-yard line by Kenny Hill.
Mark Bright trying to get a description of the penalty, but this is going to be against the Giants, and you can credit Lomax for voice inflection that time, going up, going hut 1, hut 2, went hut 1, hut 2 real loud, drew the Giants off sides.
It was the right side. Eric Howard, the nose tackle, had jumped, so it is still 2nd down, 2nd and 5.
It's the old saying, you watch the ball, you try to block out the quarterback. The Giants had problems last week against the Eagles in going off sides, not watching the ball, but watching the players and listening to the quarterback.
At the Cardinal 46. Lomax with pressure, completes his pass for the first down, and making the grab is J.T. Smith, who leads the NFL in receiving. He set a club record with 80 catches last year and has 72 so far, and it was Perry Williams who wrapped him up, but not before the Cardinals have a first down in Giant territory at the 46-yard line.
Kenny Hill, strong safety for the Giants, coming up late with an outside safety blitz, and Lomax saw it beautifully, turned around and threw the little 12-yard hitch over there to J.T. Smith.
Forgotten man in Kansas City made a big splash here in St. Louis. Pull off the left side by Stump Mitchell. And Mitchell picks up 7 or 8 yards, and meeting him was Kenny Hill. So Stump Mitchell getting underway. It was the top Cardinal ground gainer of the last 2 years. Second to Earl Farrell this time.
When you play against a 3-4 defense, which is what the Giants run, there are 2 bubbles, and both of them are over the guards. Normally you would pull the guards, but that time the Cardinals elected to fire their guards out. Both that time, Pete, the left guard, and Sharp, the left tackle. Good job of blocking.
8 minutes to go in the first half. Now Wolfley, the fullback, sets. Late handoff to Wolfley. He has the first down, but the Cardinals are fortunate that they didn't have a mishandle and a fumble on that play. Eric Howard and George Martin made the stop.
Quarterback Lomax, when you pivot around to make a cross or a cross buck type action where you turn around to the left and hand back to the right, sometimes the quarterback will spin in place and not come over that one step necessary to get the ball to the running back.
But the Cardinals have the first down on the Giant 35, 1st and 10. Wolfley scored a 6-yard touchdown. Sikahema with a big punt return for a score. Here's Ewald. And Ewald can't get away from Kenny Hill, and so far, Terry, the Giant strong safety Kenny Hill has had a very busy first half.
Simple little zone that time. Kenny Hill standing out there, and Ewald, notice he comes off, he looks up for the strong safety, find out how deep he is, breaks his little sideline route off, makes about a 4-yard break, gets the ball from Lomax, then tries to get up and get the first down. But it's a little read pattern, and where the safety plays determines how deep he goes with his route.
Hill has had a bruised left shoulder. It was in a sling as late as Wednesday of this week. And he's had a lot to do so far here. 2nd and 3 for the Cardinals on the Giant 28. Pitch to Mitchell. Changes direction. And there's Kenny Hill who brings him down. Ad-libbing by Stump Mitchell. He saw nothing off the left side, and Kenny Hill stuck with him. And down goes Mitchell at the 23-yard line.
58 Banks comes on a hot chase. He gets up inside, but he's going to end up missing Stump Mitchell. There he's in hot pursuit. Then Mitchell says, whoa, I'm going the wrong way. He stops and cuts back against the rain going by Banks. And then, of course, there's the strong safety, Kenny Hill. As he stayed in place, had he pursued, then probably Mitchell would have got the big first down.
He has the first down at the 23-yard line.
Got it anyway.
6:20 remaining in the first half. Cardinals leading by 4 on the mark. And Wolfley carries for a couple close to the 20-yard line and might have picked up as much as 4 yards on the play.
With Lawrence Taylor playing his normal position, which is right outside linebacker, and Banks at left outside linebacker, Lawrence Taylor is teamed up with Leonard Marshall, the right end. Most of the teams starting since the Cowboys played the Giants, the Cowboys ran at Taylor and Marshall away from Banks, figuring they could neutralize the speed of Taylor because Banks wouldn't pursue. But we saw a while ago that Banks does pursue.
Second down and 7 at the 20. Cardinals 14-10. Lomax over the top to Ewald. Touchdown. He beat Kenny Hill by a mile. Fifth touchdown receiving of the year by Neil Lomax. His 20th TD strike for the quarterback.
Ewald, the tight end, will come off the football and go straight down the field. It's man coverage. As you can see, Kennard, the free safety, comes over, bluffs at Ewald, pulls off, and it messes up Kenny Hill as he lays to the outside. Ewald cut back to the inside for the touchdown.
It's 20-10 St. Louis, and Al Del Greco, who lost his job a couple of weeks ago in Green Bay. One of 2 kickers active today, place kickers for St. Louis, adds the conversion. And with 5:35 remaining in the first half, Ewald has given the Cardinals a 21-10 lead.
The life of a quarterback is you have to have poise and courage to stand in under great pressure, make the big pass. You see it's a touchdown, you look up and you give a little smile and say, it's all worth it, fellas.
There's the scoring drive by the Cardinals, capped by Lomax's 20th touchdown pass. Roussan and Ingram, and it's Roussan at the 5-yard line, bringing it back for the Giants. Almost had his head taken off and now gets ahead of steam. And gets into Cardinal territory, does Roussan with a tremendous return. Troy Johnson making the tackle. And a kick return of 49 yards could put the Giants in business, though they trail by a score of 21-10. Cardinals lead the Giants 21-10. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw. It's been a game of long kick and punt returns, and the Giants have a first down at the St. Louis 47-yard line. Throwing on first down against pressure, and the pass intended for Odessa Turner incomplete. Roussan's 49-yard kickoff return was the longest of his career. Sikahema has had 2 big returns himself.
Notice Nico Noga inside, outside will be another linebacker. Bell on the other side will be E.J. Jr. All 3 blitzing for a 7-man rush on first down on Phil Simms. Notice Noga right up to the middle, puts pressure on Simms, turns around, recognizes it, just thrown behind his receiver.
Second and 10. Simms looking for Manuel, and coming out is Leonard Smith, the strong safety who converged on the play and defensed Manuel perfectly.
Manuel on Mark Jackson. This is the place where the Giants would like to attack a young man. Even the Cardinals say, we don't know what he can do. We have no idea. Manuel has that one step. But the director of the defense, Leonard Smith, strong safety, he's over there to make sure that the young guy has plenty of help from the strong safety. The director. The strong safeties for the Cardinals direct, and they want their free safeties to hit.
That'll bring up a third down at the 47. Mark Ingram, McConkey, and Turner are the 3 wide receivers. Simms, and diving is McConkey, and he made the catch short of a first down by a yard. Lonnie Young was there to make the stop, but the Giants did not get enough for first down yardage as McConkey is stopped at the 38-yard line of St. Louis. So now it's 4th down, and the Giants, who trail 21-10, have a 4th and 1, and Bill Parcells has made his decision, and he will go for the yardage.
I think that's a wise decision. Sims and McConkey are the two people that have been most active in the Giant passing attack because the Cardinals, quite frankly, think one man can cover McConkey.
And they didn't make it. Joe Morris ganged up, and the Cardinals defense has held. The Cardinal offense is already on the field. They knew it right away as Joe Morris hit a brick wall, and the Cardinals hold and take over on down.
The thing Parcells was talking about is you have to play with emotion. If you want to get the first downs, you get the first downs. You can get them. But if you don't, and this is what's happening, you can see the emotion side of this football game belongs with the Cardinals.
Keep in mind, the Vikings lost to the Green Bay Packers, and the Cardinals know that if they wind up in a tie with Minnesota, they would make the playoffs because of a better conference record. That picture may say it all. Look at two people there and the thoughts of a lot of sports fans in St. Louis.
One of the guys told me before the game, hey, don't be too hard on our fans here. I said, fans are fans. You win, you pack this joint. If you don't win, it's like this.
First down for the Cardinals after holding the Giants. They're on their 38-yard line. Lomax, and it's Awolf diving for a gain of a couple on the play to the 42, 43. And right now, for an NFL Today report, let's check in again with Brent Musburger. Brent?
Dick, let me follow up on your comment about the Cardinals giving chase to the Vikings. We got a second team giving chase right now, too. The Los Angeles Rams, and they are performing surgery on Scott Campbell and the Falcons. Here's Irvin's interception. Incidentally, he apparently has verbally agreed to a new contract. And the Rams right now are routing the Falcons 19-0, giving chase to Minnesota. Back to Dick.
And Brent, I don't think any team would want to play the L.A. Rams right now the way they've been tearing through the league. And that's a notice to the 49ers who have them in a couple of weeks. 2nd and 5 for the Cardinals on the 43. Pitch to Mitchell. And Mitchell breaks a couple and gets a first down into Giant territory to the 45. Carl Banks makes the stop, but not before Stump Mitchell picks up 12 yards.
Leonard Marshall, 70, one of the most frustrated players for the Giants, talking about coming out playing with great intensity. Notice the inside, he gets hooked. He gets inside, pushed inside, and then, of course, Stump Mitchell goes in behind him.
Leonard Marshall, sore shoulder has slowed him down, but played big against St. Louis. Mitchell on first down at the 45. Loses a yard or two on the play, and once again Carl Banks lurks as you watch the time remaining in the first half. Loss of 1 on the play will bring up 2nd down and 11 at the 41-yard line of New York.
You have to be very careful in your play selection when you're playing the Giants because of their great outside linebackers and their speed, and with the blitzing capabilities they have. This is the ideal situation that the Giants would like to have the Cardinals in.
2nd and 11. Lomax has hit his last 4. 3 of them to Awolf, and now a tight formation. Swing it out to Smith on a wide receiver screen. Might have been designed for more and picked up a couple to the 43, and Mark Collins was there to prevent a big gainer.
Everyone coming up inside. The Giants getting up inside, showing all-out blitz, and then Lomax having to say to himself, are these guys really going to do this, or are they not? He looks outside and says, I guess they are, throws it out to Smith.
Well, there are a lot of players on the Giants who have kind of been lethargic this year, but Mark Collins is not one of them. In his 2nd year, he has made a big jump over last season. 3rd down and 8 for St. Louis on the Giant 43. Through the hands of Don Holmes, incomplete. Mark Collins defending that side. So it'll be 4th down, and Greg Horn will come in to presumably punt for the Cardinals with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the first half.
Key word in the game of football is intensity, and you can see in Leonard Marshall, number 70, look at this, the spin move, swing, push, gets underneath, Nash at this guy, fighting for his job. Isn't that what Parcells said earlier in the week? I don't think he's fighting for his job, to be honest with you.
He'll be around a while.
I think so.
Horn will kick, and McConkey is back for the Giants on 4th down and 8 for St. Louis. And a penalty marker goes down, running into the kicker. Adrian White, Giant rookie, and the Cardinals will maintain possession on a 1st down. Adrian White, the 2nd-round pick from Florida, had run into Greg Horn.
It's hard to say that he ran into Greg Horn or whether or not he was blocked into him, because that time, Clyde 36 came right up the middle. He was sidestepping people, and he was bumping into everyone. Let's see. Straight up the middle, number 36, coming up right in the center of your screen, gets by, ducks his head, and unfortunately does run into the kicker Horn.
So that gives the Giants a life and more misery for Bill Parcells. Gary Reasons has replaced Pepper Johnson, an inside linebacker. 1st and 10 Cardinals, and what a catch by Awolf inside the 15. Terry Kennard and Kenny Hill. Good for 24 yards, and that was a bullet and a superb grab.
Awolf, similar to the touchdown pass he caught earlier, straight down the middle of the field, coming into your picture on the left. Reasons turns him loose, and as soon as Reasons, 55, turns him loose, Neil Nomax gets the ball to Awolf.
And our 2-minute warning is here. That's the time remaining following the 2-minute warning, and the Cardinals getting a second life when their kicker Horn was run into by Adrian White, and the big 24-yard pass play to Awolf. And the Cardinals, who have really improved their scoring inside the 20 in the last 5 games, have a 1st and 10 on the Giant 14. Wolfley, the fullback, he has scored a touchdown earlier in the game on a similar play, and now gets close to the 5-yard line, shy of a 1st down by a yard. Will bring up 2nd down.
Exact same play that Wolfley ran earlier for the touchdown. Just a little reverse by Lomax, hands it off to him. Nothing fancy about the blocking, other than the fact that the offensive line of the Cardinals right now is controlling the defensive line of the Giants.
Gene Stallings, and most of his defeats in a couple of years here in St. Louis have been less than 7 points. 2nd down, and call it 2. Giant might have moved. There's a penalty marker down. But Mitchell gets inside the 5 and into the touchdown. Ron Wolfley put down the block. If it's against the Giants, it'll be Wolfley's 2nd touchdown of the game.
Outside, 58, defense, decline, touchdown.
Carl Banks was offside. Stump Mitchell scores. Wolfley on the block. So both men in the backfield have scored for the Cardinals this afternoon.
Awolf, 80, from his left side, comes across to the right, and he throws the lead block. Wolfley, 24, kicks out the strong safety, Hill, and then the good job of running this time by Mitchell. There comes 24, Wolfley. He kicks out Hill, and then Stump Mitchell cuts back inside to Kennard.
Al Del Greco's kick is no good. Off to the left. So the lead is 27-10 in favor of the Cardinals. And they have exploded here in the 2nd quarter. Cardinals leading 27-10, and Jim Gallery, who's been kicking all day for the Cardinals on kickoffs. Del Greco had missed the conversion, as it's 27-10 now on a low bouncing kick heading over to Roussan at the 10-yard line. And Roussan is dropped at the 21. Special teams have put the Giants in a big hole in this game, and that's been the story. 2 returns by Sikahema, one a punt return for a touchdown, the other a kickoff return that set up a touchdown. And then running into the Cardinal punter, which gave St. Louis a new life, and they converted for the touchdown. That's Al Del Greco, who came over from Green Bay and missed the extra point, and I guess he's still auditioning.
Absolutely.
1st down, Giants, with 1:07 remaining in the 1st half, trailing by 17. Up the middle, Bavaro gets a few extra yards after the catch and a 1st down to the 37. He picks up 17.
That's what Bavaro gives you, 4-yard completion, and then he picks up another 13 yards on his own.
2nd down, Again, Bavaro stopped short of a first down. The Giants with 2 timeouts left in the first half. Lonnie Young and Gregory Johnson making the stop. Now they started again. Ball is at the Giants 47. Up the middle is Tony Galbraith with a rare running play for him. Normally the receiver picks up a first down at the Cardinals 39, and the Giants will stop the clock with their second timeout of the first half. 21 seconds to go. Here's our story with 21 seconds left in the first half. The Cardinals rolling out to a 27-10 lead. The Giants now down to 1 timeout, and they have a first down at the Cardinals 39 after picking up their first rushing first down of the game.
Sims will try to work the sidelines, try to make the completions, get the first down, save that 1 timeout for a field goal if it's necessary.
Sims short. He was going for Lionel Manuel, and covering was Carl Carter. Stops the clock with 16 seconds.
The Giants' offense with Sims in there reminds me so much of the way the Steelers' offense was, and it takes a little longer to throw the football because of the routes. The routes by the Giants, by their wide receivers, are 15 to 20 to 25 yards. Takes a little longer, but boy, when you make those completions, you get big chunks of yardage quick.
Second down and 10.
Let's go, Dave!
Sims with time, and it's knocked away. Penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. Manuel, or Stephen Baker, the intended receiver, and Tim McDonald was defending, but there is a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. It's against New York. Sims had the most pass attempts of the season last week, 34. He already has thrown 27 this afternoon, and we're still in the first half.
Holding, number 68, offense, second down.
Damian Johnson, the right guard, who has come in for Godfrey. There's Ron Earhart, the offensive coordinator, next to Bill Parcells.
You only have to look at the scoreboard to ask yourself why has Sims thrown so many passes. Heck, they're behind. The Eagles have absolutely kept the pressure on their offense the entire first half.
Brett Nerve will have scores and highlights coming up at halftime. Second and 20 for the Giants, back at midfield. Up the middle, Galbraith with 4 seconds, 3 and 3 seconds to go, and another timeout, and the last timeout called by the Giants. But Terry, it's true that they've had to throw since they've been behind, but it looked like that they were throwing the ball early in the ball game, even when they were down 7-0 and tied 7-7.
That was the thing I was talking about. Yes, we want to try to run the football. Yes, we want to do this and we want to do that. The balanced offense for Ron Earhart's Giant offensive machine is balance. Let's run, let's throw it. They haven't been able to do that this year for whatever reasons. I think it's mostly, emotional. You got to want to block. You got to want to run. You got to do all those things and play with that emotion. And they just haven't demonstrated that, I don't think, in the first half. So consequently, what do? You throw the football, and that's not all bad.
Giants will try to get 3, and it'll be a long one. It looks like a 53-yard attempt, and that would match Allegre's longest kick of the year with 3 seconds to go. A 53-yarder by Allegre will not carry. It is short and off to the right, and that'll do it for the first half. So the fans cheer as the St. Louis Cardinals get a standing ovation. And the fans hope the Cardinals win if this is indeed their last game here. And the Cardinals have dominated the Giants. And that is the end of the first half here in St. Louis with the score. The Cardinals 27, the Giants 10.
On this Sunday, the quarterbacks move center stage. New England's Steve Grogan returns from the injury list and fires 4 touchdowns to rout the Jets. And Cleveland's Bernie Kosar throws 4 as the Browns rout the Cincinnati Bengals. And one of the great masters of this art, Dan Marino, throws 3 more touchdown passes as the Dolphins beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And for those amazing New Orleans Saints, it was Bobby Hebert with 3 more touchdown passes. And the Saints again come marching in, this time against Houston.
What are you going to do about the Buffalo Bills? Do you remember what you said earlier? They can't win. They can't win. Here it is with 2 weeks to go, and they're leading.
They have to bow to the old Greek, the oracle.
I'm not going to let you all forget it. You just kidded me about Buffalo like crazy.
Well, I tell you something. With that Viking loss today, all of a sudden the playoff race in the NFC has opened up. The Cardinals and the Rams now are alive again.
All right, Irv and Jimmy, let's take everybody to the scoreboard and get them up to date with standings and scores now. Here's the New England score, 42-20 over the Jets. Now Miami over Philadelphia. It was 28-10 there. And here is that Buffalo score. Forget about the 27 for Kelly. How about the 3 on the part of the Colts at home? That's tough defense, folks. Look at this turnout. Largest ever. More than 60,000 opening drive now. Jim Kelly, becoming one of the best in the league, hits Ronnie Harmon. It was 7-0. And the Bills' offensive coordinator, he had to coach hurt. Leg brace following an injury on the opening kickoff. Now watch this play here. Folks, it's a hot potato play. Huh? It's volleyball time. Ball lands in the hands of Ricky Porter. It's a 3-yard gain. And then the defense, you want to see him in action? Watch this. Sean Salisbury fumbles on a hit by Bruce Smith, and Big Smith recovers in the end zone for a touchdown. They won it easily. And now the standings show Buffalo, Indianapolis, and Miami all at 7-6 ahead of that division. The upset that Irv Cross told you about right here. Packers 16, Vikings 10. Irv, show us some highlights from that game.
Well, Green Bay played an outstanding ball game, but early in the game, Tommy Kramer is quarterbacking for the Vikings, and he hit Anthony Carter on a 40-yard touchdown. But late in the game, Kenneth Davis scores from 7 yards out. And I'll tell you, this was a tough run because they had to have this one to stay alive. He just breaks over that left guard, goes in, and the Packers upset Minnesota 16-10.
All right, so that's the situation in the NFC wild card. Now, meanwhile, over in the AFC Central, Cleveland 38 and Cincinnati 24. New Orleans beat back Houston 24-10. And so the AFC Central standings right now, pending the outcome of the Pittsburgh game, look like that. Cleveland again can be ahead if San Diego beats Pittsburgh this afternoon. Greek, I want to ask you a question. What happened to Minnesota? I'm shocked about this one.
You know what? And I failed to remember it. Minnesota played the Bears in a very hard, tough game and lost it by just a few points. I'm sure that there was a tremendous letdown after that, Brent.
All right, the NFL today will continue. We've got the Ralph Sampson trade coming your way right after these messages from your local stations. Okay, now the big story in basketball. In that big trade late last night, the Golden State Warriors acquired Ralph Sampson, and they'll play him at center, along with guard Steve Harris from the Houston Rockets, in exchange for center Joe Barry-Kell and guard Sleepy Floyd. Now, earlier on the NFL Today, I asked Sampson about all the criticism that for his natural ability, he does not play with enough fire in his belly.
And the NBA is a very long season, and people out there may perceive me in different ways, but I know I got a lot of fire inside of me that drives me to play the way I play. And when I move to a different position, I have to learn a different position. I have to be different from anywhere else that I normally play, and only play center. Playing forward, I had to adjust to outside shooting instead of my back to the basket, outside rebounding, trying to go around somebody. And it was a totally different game for me to play, but I adjusted to it, and I think I played it to my best.
A lot of basketball people think that Sampson does belong back at center, which is what he played at Virginia. Now in the NFL, games in progress. The Rams routing the Falcons. What a great defense the Rams have suddenly put together. And like the Cardinals, they would move to within a game of the Vikings in the wild card chase if they hold on, and well, they should. Raiders in Kansas City. Raiders just had a touchdown called back by an instant replay review. Failed on 4th down. Chiefs lead. How about Bo Jackson? 3 carries, 1 yard. He limped off the field with a sprained ankle, but he has played since then. Pittsburgh and San Diego. Story here is the weather. 30-degree wind chill factor in San Diego. Cold as many of us can ever remember on a Sunday afternoon. 5 Charger fumbles. Detroit and Tampa Bay. And so far, Testaverde cannot get the Bucs on the scoreboard with a touchdown. 10-3 Lions lead. Giants and Cardinals. The game you're watching, 27-10. And the Cardinals giving chase to Minnesota right now. All right, the Dallas-Washington game. Washington holds off the Cowboys 24-20. I mentioned on an update there was a fight. Here's how it happened on the Cowboys' last touchdown. It was a thrown pass by White. Now, Olkowitz gets into a shoving match. He's the middle linebacker for the Redskins. And I want you to watch who jumps into the pile after the incident. Here comes number 11, Danny White-Irvin. Jimmy, I can never remember a quarterback doing that, Irv.
The only Dallas quarterback I can think of in the fight was when Roger Staubach decked Clint Longley in the locker room after a practice.
Hold it. That was another quarterback. I don't know. Gilmer and Blanda were the only two.
Fortunately, folks, at least what we know right now, no one was seriously injured on that play. All right. Second half is coming up right now. Let's send you back to Dick Stockton. Dick?
We're at halftime here. Landeta booting the ball.
So much is said about offense and defense, but the third weapon is special teams. It's kind of taken for granted. Actually, very few players want to be a part of it, but as you can see, Zickahema does a fine job of going up in the middle, sets things up, and then turns it outside. And in a game like this, it's very important that they score early, and they did.
He also had a 48-yard kickoff return. So Vi Zickahema with a 76-yard punt return for a touchdown and an extra dance tacked on. As you can see how the Giants special teams have led to 3 touchdowns by the St. Louis Cardinals in this ball game. And the Giants have had good field position, Terry, but they have relied solely on the pass. I mean, Phil Simms should go way over 30 into 40 attempts before we're through.
I think one of the real keys for the second half for the Giants, I think this defensive this defensive secondary and linebackers of the Giants as good as they are in the National Football League. And the offense of the Giants feeds off of their emotion. They feed off of their excitement. And I think the Giants need to display that. It filtrates over to your offense. Right now, it's a one-sided affair.
Raul Alegre will kick off to start the second half. Vi Zickahema and Derek McAdoo are back for the Cardinals. Heading over toward McAdoo's side. They want to get it away from Zickahema as far as possible. McAdoo brings it out beyond the 20-yard line. Well, not all of the Cardinal fans are apathetic about their team. A lot of young ones want to see it stay around.
It's pretty fancy riding there.
And the season is approaching. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I love Christmas. Absolutely love Christmas. Got that little daughter now, and I love Christmas. Loved it before, but it's even more fun now. You bet.
First and 10 Cardinals on their 22-yard line. Stump Mitchell, big hole off the left side. Brings it out to the 27-yard line before Harry Carson making the stop. Gain 57 yards today by Stump.
Marshall King on the guards and center, so he tells us on first down, reads the tackle, Louis Sharp. Sharp steps outside, and then Marshall meets that penetration by going outside, allowing Mitchell to come back underneath him once again.
6-yard pickup by Stump Mitchell, who's gained 57 yards. It'll be second down and 4 for the Cardinals on their 28. Mitchell again, Wolfley blocking. Mitchell has the first down and more. Fumble, but the whistle might have blown. Let's wait and see. Carl Banks made the hit on the play. Still no indication. And the Cardinals have recovered, so the whistle had not blown, but the Redbirds recovered and have a first down at the 35-yard line. And Gene Stallings deserves a lot of credit for keeping the Cardinals together under a lot of distractions away from the field this year.
Well, they're playing like a hungry football team. They're not as talented, obviously, as the Giants, but they're playing with that old key word. I don't even want to bring it up again, but it's emotion. They're not as talented as the Giants, yet they're carrying it to them today.
Lomax on first down, pumps a couple of times, finds a wide open Ewald, and Ewald with a big gainer into Giant territory to the 43-yard line. Perry Williams knocked him out of bounds, but a 22-yard pickup for Robert Ewald.
Marshall 70, Louis Sharp has him by himself, coming out with a little help from the left guard, Pete. Now, Pete stands there. Marshall hasn't beaten Sharp yet. Finally, Louis Sharp turns him over to Pete, who handles him and gives Lomax time to find Ewald crossing across the field for a big catch.
Ewald has caught 5 passes today. There is Marshall, and Jay Novacek has replaced Ewald. And Mitchell on first down. Fights his way with a penalty marker thrown inside the 40-yard line. Lawrence Taylor, with help from Eric Howard, made the stop, and the flag appears to be against St. Louis.
Holding, number 64, offense, first down.
Todd Pete, rookie left guard out of Northern Illinois. He was an 11th round draft pick. Boy, when you get him that high, or low, I should say, in the draft, you've done pretty well.
Most of your offensive linemen in the National Football League, your really great ones, your starters are free agents and low-round draft choices. Most of your number 1s, 2s, and 3s are spent on linebackers, defensive backs, quarterbacks, those halfbacks who win the Heisman, all those fancy guys.
First down in a long distance, and Lomax goes down. And another loss on the play, and that is the second sack of the game by the Giants, and that's Lawrence Taylor, who now has 11 on the year.
Lawrence Taylor, 56, coming up in outside, penetrates down inside, forms a pick for Marshall, 70, who goes around, and then finally Lawrence Taylor beats his guy, gets inside, and makes the first sack today of Neil Lomax.
4 years in a row now that Taylor has 10 or more sacks, and I wonder if during the intermission in the dressing room, Lawrence Taylor was as angry as anyone with the score. Second down and 27, back to the Cardinal 40-yard line. Early here in the third. Being chased again, and Lomax throws it down. Flag. Carl Banks put the rush on, and they may call Lomax for intentionally grounding the ball to avoid a sack, and that will be the call. Lomax argues with Jerry Markbright, but that'll go to no avail.
That's a good call by Markbright, because it's clear that Lomax realizes Banks is going to sack him, throws the football down, and what Lomax is thinking is, I can do this, this is legal, but it was to avoid a sack, which makes it illegal. Taylor not putting any pressure, but straight up the middle, 58, is Carl Banks, and now Lomax says, I'm fixing to get dumped. He throws the ball down. You can't do that. Watch now. Banks comes in. Lomax knows he doesn't have a prayer, knows he's going to get sacked, throws the ball in.
Intentional grounding, avoiding a loss of run. Penalty, forced from the spot of the foul. Loss of down, third down.
So the Cardinals going in reverse with good pressure by the Giant defense. Mike Ruther replacing Derek Kennard at center for the St. Louis Cardinals, and it'll be third down and 37 at the 30, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lomax just hands the ball off here. 12:40 remaining in the third quarter, with St. Louis leading 27-10. And Lomax will throw if he can. And it's an incompleted pass, and once again Lawrence Taylor came storming in. Greg Lasker also came in on a safety blitz.
Safety blitz, late safety blitz by Greg Lasker, 46, coming to Lomax's right. Lawrence Taylor there in the center of your screen, spinning off Tootie Robbins, gets the penetration, and then he and Lasker get to Lomax about the same time. Of course, you see Taylor getting the sack.
Greg Horn will punt to Phil McConkey. Booming kick by Horn, his best of the day. McConkey back to the 25. McConkey is wrestled down short of the 35-yard line by Anthony Bell, a 9-yard return following a 46-yard kick. Is it rough on special teams? Take a look at this.
There's the hit. Woofley. Roussan going after it.
And inspired the Giant defense sparked by Taylor and Banks, and let's see if it spills over to the offense here, Terry, with the Cardinals leading by 17. First and 10 Giants on their own 35-yard line. They have a lot of time in this third quarter, and the first pass intended for Manuel is low and incomplete, and covering on the play was Mark Jackson.
Seems like every time that Sims has come up and realized that Manuel has Jackson man for man, or vice versa, with Jackson playing off, Sims has thrown the ball to him. Twice now he's thrown the ball down into the ground.
the numbers of Phil Simms today. His touchdown pass was to Mark Bavaro, which at the time in the first quarter tied the score at 7 apiece. The closest the Giants have gotten since then, 14-10. 2nd and 10. Adams swinging out, one man to beat, and he can't do it. And a fine play by Leonard Smith, leading the Cardinal tacklers for the 3rd year in a row.
The Cardinals are really being risky with their coverage. They're taking their secondary, and at the very last minute, changing the coverage. That time, Leonard Smith called off the original coverage. Everyone shifted, and then at the snap of the ball, Smith came flying up to make the stop.
3rd down and 9. Make it 3rd and 8. Simms. And a penalty marker down as the intended receiver was Lionel Manuel. Covering was Mark Jackson. Let's see if a flag was thrown. And it doesn't appear that one was. So it'll be 4th down, and Sean Landetta will come in. No flag thrown, and the Giants missed another opportunity. But, Terry, they went to the air right immediately on the first play.
First play, they went at Mark Jackson. 3rd down play, they threw at Mark Jackson. So, Matt, you try to make a goat out of Mark Jackson, and what you end up doing is making the guy Rookie of the Year.
By Sekahema is beat deep, and Landetta. Good kick. Sekahema. 17. Dives forward and crashes to the 38-yard line. Lee Roussan making the stop, a 20-yard return by Sekahema, who has a 76-yard punt return for a touchdown and a 48-yard kickoff return today. He made the Pro Bowl because of that kind of performance last year.
Wayne Davis, a backup linebacker for the Cardinals, as he and Zeke Mowat getting a little. Now, see, there's the nice hit by Zeke. He's got him down, but now all of a sudden, Wayne Davis gives him a little kick right in the face, and then, of course, Mowat showing the emotion that it's necessary, and then the big wrestling match starts, and they had a real nice wrestling match going on here in St. Louis last night with the Hulk and all those guys here, so maybe that's a carryover from that.
Even the umpire, Bob Wagner, got in the act there. 1st and 10 Cardinals on their 38-yard line, leading the Giants 27-10. Mitchell, he's gotten good yardage straight ahead, and on a second effort, managed to get to the 42-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play, and making the stop for the Giants was Carl Banks and Kenny Hill. This is the scene at Busch Stadium in St. Louis in what could be the final game of the year and of all time in St. Louis. It is the last game of the year for the Cardinals. 2nd down and 6. Just under 11 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Pass is incomplete, intended for J.T. Smith. And covering was Mark Collins for the Giants.
J.T. Smith's been kind of quiet today. One reception on a blitz that Lomax turned around and threw the ball to him. Lomax now trying to get a little quick slant in there to him, trying to get the ball to him and let him run with it.
You look at the scores, and of course most of the AFC teams, many of them are still in the playoff fight. 3rd down and 6 at the 42-yard line. Lomax under big pressure, nearly intercepted by Terry Kennard. There have been no turnovers in the game today. And we very nearly had one right there. Looking at the scores, the Philadelphia Eagles eliminated from the playoffs because of the Miami victory. The Cowboys are out because the Redskins beat them. Tampa Bay is in trouble. Greg Horn kicking on 4th down, sending McConkey back inside his 10. Wending his way to the 26. Good running by McConkey, and making the stop was Anthony Bell. A 50-yard kick by Horn. We'll be back to St. Louis after this. 1st and 10 on their 26-yard line, following a 50-yard kick by Horn. No scoring in the 3rd quarter with 10:34 remaining. 27-10. Sims' first pass dropped by Morris. Giants showing a tremendous lack of concentration today, among other problems on special teams. And it's been a passing offense. 32 passes for the Giants, only 10 running plays.
That could be a sign of frustration on behalf of Joe Morris, not being able to run the football coming out. Now he has an opportunity to catch the football and then run, drops it.
Second down. Adams in the backfield for New York. Sims has his man in a first down. Odessa Turner. Gain of 14. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Cardinals, who have been playing before half-empty houses virtually all year, are playing an outstanding football game and lead the New York Giants 27-10 with 10:23 to go in the third. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw, a Giant loss would finally end their misery and put them out of the playoffs, and the Cardinals are still alive. First and 10 at the 39. Here's Morris turning the corner and ridden out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Leonard Smith.
Leonard Smith hoping that when the Pro Bowl ballots come out that the players won't look at the interceptions but look at the overall contribution he's made as a defensive back. So many times you feels like that everyone looks at the number of interceptions a player has, and then they vote that guy into the Pro Bowl, and he's saying, hey, look at the overall job I've done, the way I tackle and direct this defense.
Second down and 3 at the 46. Sims up the middle. Bavaro burst into Cardinal territory, and a first down to the 35-yard line, a gain of 19. Lonnie Young making the stop for the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, next Saturday at noon Eastern time starts with the NFL Today, and then it's these New York Giants against the Green Bay Packers. Last year, the Giants stomped on the Pack 55-24, and Green Bay was incensed after the ball game. They'll have an opportunity. And then basketball action follows with North Carolina against Illinois. Adams run out of bounds. Mark Jackson and then Anthony Bell combining. At the 35-yard line. Out of Kentucky.
Leonard Smith's going to blitz his safety side coming up, and he'll come over and penetrate the back, who's going to get tackled all the way across the other side of the field. And Leonard Smith will get tackled. He'll get blocked down. Now you see him. He's gotten up. He's jumped over people. Now he's not through yet. That's why he says he should be in the Pro Bowl.
Second and 10 at the 35 for the Giants. Sims has Odessa Turner complete, and another first down at the 22. Carl Carter covering on the play, and a 13-yard pickup for Odessa Turner, whose first NFL reception was 2 weeks ago against Washington.
Phil Simms working the sidelines early in the first quarter. We saw him throwing deep ends. Now he's turned his attention to the sidelines, working the deep outs with Odessa Turner. Turner, a fourth-round draft choice. He's the guy Baker was taken. Ingram was taken ahead of him, but he's the guy they feel like's the real superstar of the future.
First down for the Giants at the Cardinals 22. Here comes a blitz. Sims is hit, and it's anyone's ball. And Anthony Bell with a tremendous pressure there, and E.J. Jr. tried to dive for the interception. But this is an aroused Cardinal defense today.
Bell coming up to the top of your screen in a 4-3 alignment. It should be no problem blocking him, but as you can tell, no one's there to pick him up, and he absolutely wears Phil Simms, number 11, all over his chest. But in a 4-3 alignment, someone is responsible for blocking him, either a back or tackle or a defensive end. Someone blew their assignment.
Second down and 10, and Simms has already attempted 35 passes, and that's a season's high for him. At the 22. Pass is caught by Odessa Turner. And a first down and a fine catch just outside the 10-yard line by Turner. And now we know what you're talking about Turner's future.
They say he just walks out Parcells, watch him when he comes on the field. He has that little prance, that little move, that little gait about him that has all the looks of superstar. Now you see the reasons why when he throws those hands up like Hoovers and snatches the ball for a first down.
He played safety in college at Northwest Louisiana.
Demons.
I didn't know that.
My arch rival in college.
Louisiana Tech. I don't even know yours.
We didn't have one then.
First down at the 11. Good drive by the Giants. Sims will take the loss back to the 14, and the smart quarterback will do that. Clasby and Freddie Joe Nunn combined. Steve Albert, the right tackle, penetrated on the play.
You really don't have a lot of time as a quarterback to throw when you're inside the 30 with the red zone. That's the scoring zone, because as a quarterback, you think to yourself, blitzes, and then you say, I'm not going to have enough time. The guy's either there, I'll run it or throw it away. You don't have a lot of time.
Second down and 13. Back at the 14 for Sims. Going for the end zone, diving, touchdown, Lionel Manuel. A 14-yard touchdown strike to Manuel. His 6th reception of the year for a score. He beat Mark Jackson. So, Terry, they've been working on Jackson all day, and it finally worked out.
Well, they had Jackson set up by running a lot of sideline patterns, and this time Manuel comes down. He'll come into the center of your screen and then go back out to the right side. And when he brings Jackson inside, Jackson loses Manuel. Manuel, being smart receiver that he is, goes back out to the corner, wide open for a touchdown.
Raul Alegre. With the conversion, it's good. 8 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and Phil Simms has something to shout about. The Giants trail the Cardinals now 27-17.
Got to be happy. Phil Simms will not quit on you. He thinks now, hey, we're back in this game. We can win this, baby.
In a hurry, Simms to Manuel, and it's a 27-17 game. Allegre kicking off short, heading over to Derek McAdoo. McAdoo bringing it back and dives forward to the 27-yard line. The New Orleans Saints defeated the Houston Oilers 24-10, and one divisional race still alive in the NFC is the West. The 49ers have a home game against the Bears tomorrow, and the Saints are right on their necks.
How about those Saints? Can you believe that? Being from Louisiana all the years and sit there and listen to people make fun of them?
Did you wear the bag over your head at one time?
Oh, no. 10-3, unbelievable.
First and 10 for the Cardinals at the 27. The Giants have played inspired defense in the second half. They're definite range here. Lomax to Mitchell on the handoff, and Mitchell is thrown down by Carl Banks. Banks and Taylor have sparked the Giants' second half defense.
Banks, 58, center of your screen. He will check AWOL to see if he releases or if he blocks. When he sees that he's going to block, now he penetrates, gets his hands on him, and then comes in and makes the stop. That was one of those delayed draws that are no good unless linebackers are driving backward, allowing the guards to pull out and block. No one there. Banks makes the sack.
Second and 11. Mitchell makes a tough catch of a hard throw out to the 25-yard line, and they'll lose a yard. Pepper Johnson on the stop.
Now you see the overflow. Remember we were talking about the Giants coming out defensively. If they can play up to inspired football, then the offense will pick up, and they did. They scored. Now look what's happened to the Giants defense. They're picking it up, shutting down the Cardinal offense.
But the Giants defense started at first here in the second half.
Yes, they did.
Third down and 12 at the 25 with just under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lomax and has his man, and a first down for the Cardinals. Don Holmes, who dropped one earlier, catches this for 16 yards and moves the sticks for the St. Louis Cardinals.
You're going to look at linebackers coming, and there'll be one more to the righty, left of your screen. Both coming up inside. There's Taylor playing a down lineman position, and then Lomax not able to really follow through throws out, and it looks like it's intended for Green, but he overthrows Green and lands in the lap of Donald Holmes, 83.
Big play. They couldn't get to Lomax, and the Cardinals have a first down on their own 42. Lomax again throwing, drills it to Roy Green, complete to the 35. 23-yard pickup to Roy Green. First catch of the game for Roy.
Green on Mark Collins. Collins land to the outside. Now it's a foot race. Green sees him leaning deep, turns it back up underneath, and then a fine throw by Lomax as he squeezes it in. Now look at Lomax. He makes it happen. Notice he's looking to the left, then right at the very last moment turns and throws back to the right.
Roderick Sargent, number 39, is the fullback for the Cardinals. First and 10, St. Louis. On the 35, Stump Mitchell trapped and down and loses a couple on the play, and thanks to Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, top of your screen, 56, right here. Had the hamstring problem. This is his chase position. This is the position where he chases. But you can see from this that he's not sprinting full speed, kind of three-quarter speed. Still gets in and makes the tackle.
Loss of a yard, second down and 11. 5:45 remaining in the third quarter. Lomax going up top. Roy Green had beaten Perry Williams, but the pass was overthrown. And Lomax would have loved that one again.
Well, that's a combination that drives secondaries crazy. Roy Green, 81, gets inside of Williams, and for some reason now, Williams thinks he might have cover from over top. No one there. Lucky for him that Lomax didn't have the time to get the ball to him. Look at Lomax. He knows he had an opportunity there. Gee whiz, I mean, come on. You got to get another shot at it.
Looks like Ozzie Smith, or a reasonable facsimile to the Cardinals shortstop.
You like to see that. You like to see guys jump around, roll around on the ground, and get up. It shows that they want to win. They're in this thing to have a good time and make it happen.
Third down and 11 at the 36 for the Cardinals, leading 27-17 over the Giants. Lomax up the middle and couldn't lead J.T. Smith or let him too far, and the pass is incomplete. And that'll bring up fourth down, and Horn will come in and kick it away for St. Louis.
Now, this could be a very critical series for the Cardinals because they had two opportunities. An opportunity to Smith right there to get the first down, an opportunity to Green for the touchdown. Don't take the Giants lightly. We're looking at 27-17, new life for the Giants.
And also keep in mind, as McConkey goes back, that the Cardinals have missed a conversion, so the Giants need a touchdown and a field goal to tie. Had the conversion been good, that wouldn't be enough for the Giants, but Greco missed earlier. Horn standing in midfield. And the 30-second clock winds down to 0 and a 5-minute delay of game call. There's the Giant offensive line getting ready to go back to work.
Standing up, anxious to get back in there. Tackled Roberts. Saying, hey, let's go.
Problems in the offensive line led to poor pass protection. No running game for the Giants to speak of this year. And today, they've been protecting Sims a little bit better.
When they move that back, they take that delay of penalty to give the kicker a better angle. But now if he shanks it, look at the yardage they're going to lose.
He booms this kick. It didn't really matter. Out of the end zone or in the end zone.
Well, why do that? Why not kick it out of bounds inside the 10 or try to? That was just a driver right through there.
41-yard kick, and the Giants will take over as their defense talks things over. They have been the spearhead so far in this third quarter. They've outscored the Cardinals 7-0 and trail by 10 points.
You can see Banks talking to Leonard Marshall, trying to get involved, tell him we got to get back in this.
Next Sunday on CBS, the Jets and the Eagles, Saints and Bengals, Minnesota and Detroit, 12:30 Eastern Time. NFL continues on CBS next Sunday. First and 10 at the 20-yard line. Sims couldn't find anyone. And down he goes third sack of the ball game, and Bob Clasby with help from Freddie Joe Nunn and a loss of 7.
Freddie Joe Nunn 78 and Clasby 79, a tackle and an in. Actually, Freddie Joe Nunn 78 is a linebacker converted to a defensive end. His quickness really helps him here, but Clasby is actually the guy that gets in and makes the sack. Freddie Joe Nunn just kind of assisted him a little bit.
Nunn leads the Cardinals with 7 sacks this year. Second down and 17. Here comes E.J. Jr. And the pass out of the backfield to Adams is overthrown. Third down, and Jr. put on good pressure outside.
Blitz outside, and what Sims had was a little screen, but he had to throw the ball over Jr.'s hands real high, forcing him to miss his receiver.
This is a man who is intense, Lawrence Taylor, and they knew it in the replacement game against Buffalo earlier in the year. He played it as if it were the Super Bowl. They just can't get him off the field, and he's anxious to get back on. Third down and 17, back on the 13 for the Giants. Sims on a design rollout. Downfield, and he's got McConkey and a first down to the 37-yard line. A gain of 23 yards. Carter on the stop, and the Giants stay in business.
You can notice Sims there talking and waving his hands at his players, encouraging them, come on, we got this thing going. Let's get in here. You can feel the emotional part. You can see the old momentum's kind of swinging over to the Giants side.
It may have a very slim chance, and perhaps none in many people's eyes, but mathematically, they need to win to stay alive. If they lose, they're out. First down, Giants on the 36. Up the middle is Bavaro. And trying to lean toward the sticks for a first down. Nico Noga, the linebacker, making the stop. As you see the time remaining here in the third quarter. Bavaro has caught 8 passes for 91 yards this afternoon.
Well, he had 6 for 133 last week. Notice Bavaro down. Notice the linebacker bail outside. The bail releases. Then Bavaro comes to the inside. There goes Bell, releases. Now Bavaro just comes back inside. The linebackers are deep. That's a simple little pass that they've run probably 4 or 5 times already.
They're going to measure for the first down, and the Giants have it. Thanks to Mark Bavaro, had a foot injury earlier in the season and getting better as the season advances. The Giant bench with Harry Carson, the linebackers.
Don't you know Harry Carson would like nothing better than dump a bucket of Gatorade on Bill Parcells at the end of this game? That's an indication these guys are back.
They don't do it this year, but I'll tell you what, they'd like to think about doing it.
Yeah.
First down, Giants on the 46. And here's a flea flicker. Sims. And he's got an open man. Bill McConkey, and McConkey has the first down. So a flea flicker. Morris back to Sims, a gain of 17, and they had to get away from the safety, I believe, Leonard Smith on that play.
You're going to see, there's McConkey coming in motion. There's Morris. Sims will pitch it, drop back. Morris runs over here, and he pitches it back. But right here is 45, Leonard Smith coming in from the blitz, and he disrupts the whole package. There's the pitch. Now there's Smith. He barely misses, and then a fine job that time by McConkey and Sims.
First down on the Cardinals, 37. Sims to Roussan out of the backfield. Dives for the first down. Let's see where they'll mark it. Carl Carter making the stop on Lee Roussan. And it appears to be another Giant first down, and the Cardinal is shaken up at the 45-yard line. Bob Clasby, the left tackle, is holding on to his left knee. .307 remaining in the third quarter. The Giants were trailing 27-10 at the half, now trailed by 10 points and driving here. They have a first down on the St. Louis 27, but Clasby is shaken up. Second-year free agent from Notre Dame.
We are first and 10. St. Louis 27.
Working with his shoulder, had their hand inside the shoulder pad, so a lot of times you think when they do that, it's kind of like a a nerve has been hit. You know, when his head gets hit in the head and get a little nerve, a little tingling down the arms.
So the Rams with their big lead. Your old club over San Diego, the Steelers. Detroit leading Tampa Bay. 1st and 10 at the 27, the AFC East. One game separates all 5 teams. And now the crowd urging on the Cardinal defense. Leonard Smith on the field performing the role of cheerleader here. 1st and 10 at the 27. Crosby is out. Mark Goralczyk is in, number 76. And Sims. Fumble. Nico Noga right around the play, and let's see if the Cardinals have recovered. You'll hear the cheer if they do. And the first turnover of the ball game. B.J. Jr. recovered the fumble, and the Cardinals have the ball.
Nico Noga straight up the middle. There's no one there to block him, and finally the running back notices late. I believe that's Adams. Notices that he's coming up the middle. He says, "Oh no, that's my man." Turns around too late. He penetrates and knocks the ball out of Sims' hand.
Well, the Giant defense was anxious to get back and do some damage. There's the offensive problem for the Giants, but now a golden opportunity goes by the board for the Giants, and the Cardinals with a 10-point lead have a first down on their 32. Stump Mitchell with a terrific 8-yard foray beyond the 40-yard line up the middle, and the Giants have rarely stopped Mitchell going straight up this afternoon.
Kennard, the center, and Lance Smith, the right guard, do a good job, and all this is a read by Mitchell as he takes the handoff and he reads the nose tackle and goes opposite. If he goes to the left, then he goes to the right. That's exactly what happened that time.
Mitchell maybe having his best day ever against the Giants. 2nd down and 1. He gained 9 that time. 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Roderick Sargent, the fullback, will have the Cardinal first down, thrown back, but I believe his forward progress will give him a first down yardage at the 44. Eric Howard on the stop.
Looking at Sims, talking to Ron Earhart, his offensive coordinator, finding out what they want to do when they get the football back. Actually wanting to know what happened in the blocking pattern. Why didn't he have time to throw the football when Noga knocked the ball loose?
42 pass attempts by Sims today. His season's high last year when the Giants went to the Super Bowl was 45. That was in the opening game against the Cowboys. Cardinals first down on the 44. And on an end around with a tight end, Ewald fumbles and is thrown for a loss by Carl Banks. Back to the 36-yard line. Loss of 6.
The playbook says that Banks, or the computer, that Banks is not the pursue guy. Taylor is, this time trying to get a little fancy with a tight end reverse, and then Banks in hot pursuit gets back and knocks the ball. Well, almost gets the ball away from Ewald. Kind of slides in there. One of the old, kind of like the old roller skating routine he and Lonnie Smith do in the offseason. They roller skate.
They roller skate together, don't they?
They do. They love to roller skate.
A couple of guys from Michigan State.
Just rolling around.
Under a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 19. Lomax going deep. Tipped away. Roy Green, the intended receiver, and Mark Collins made a brilliant play downfield.
A cornerback's nightmare is knowing that he has this man, Roy Green, 81, man for man, all over the entire football field. Here you see Collins closing as he sees the football in the air. Does a fine job of coming over at the last moment with that left hand, knocking the ball away. That would scare me to death if I thought I had this guy all over the field and had to try to cover him. Collins did a good job.
3rd down and 19 with 37 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. 27-17, the Cardinals by 10. They have missed an extra point. Mike Ruther comes in for Derek Kennard on the spread formations, and he's in there now for St. Louis at center. Lomax in the crowd, intended for J.T. Smith, through his hands, and it'll be 4th down. Well, the Giants have done a good job on J.T. Smith, the leading receiver in the league. Special teams put the Giants in a hole, and the defense, led by Taylor and Banks and Marshall, led a spark here in the second half. Horn coming in to kick it away, and McConkey is back for the Giants. Good kick by Horn. Penalty marker down. McConkey at the 17. He's dropped at the 27 by Mike Morris. But there's a flag there.
McConkey on return. Tackle by number 68, Mike Morris. Penalty flag down.
Penalty will be against the Cardinals. And the Giants apparently will decline the penalty. And now they've decided to take it. The offensive unit had come on, and now it goes off, and they'll make Horn kick it again.
I think that's a smart.
Number 83 on the kicking team. 4th down again.
I want to remind you, next week on CBS, it all begins with the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern Time. The Eagles against the New York Jets. The Jets, one of the 5 teams fighting in the AFC East. New Orleans against Cincinnati. Minnesota, Detroit. Also on tap. Atlanta against San Francisco. St. Louis against Tampa Bay. Check your local listing. Horn kicks it again, and McConkey now at the 26-yard line. And McConkey will give the Giants good field position. Fumble on the play, and it was whistled dead at the 47-yard line. A 47-yard kick, but this time, Terry, a 20-yard return by Phil McConkey.
I was going to say earlier, this is smart on behalf of the Giants to force the Cardinals to kick again. They pick up another 18 yards in offensive yardage, so it's very smart. McConkey just taking it, going straight up the field. Nothing fancy about that, just a lot of guts and courage.
Returns against the Eagles last week tied a Giant all-time record. Giants on their own 47, 1st and 10. Sims' pass is caught by Bavaro, good enough for a 1st down, and wrestled down by Lonnie Young. And Lonnie Young has to be pretty strong to do that to Mark Bavaro. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter here in St. Louis with the score, Cardinals 27, the Giants 17. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Shack, the technology store.
1st and 10, 4th quarter, and Joe Morris, with his best run of the day, picks up a Giant 1st down just inside the Cardinal 30. Anthony Bell and Leonard Smith on the stop. And Terry, as we take a look at the rushing and passing numbers after 3 quarters of the game, what does that tell you?
Well, that tells you that the Giants have had problems running all year, so they're throwing the football. It also tells me that the Cardinals' defensive secondary is not that good.
1st and 10 at the 29. Sims with a tough pass to Bavaro, who breaks the tackle and gets inside the 10, fumbles the ball. We'll wait for the official call. Lonnie Young made the hit. Bavaro with a great catch and run, but coughed it up inside the 10-yard line. 2nd play of the 4th quarter.
Well, now they have that mad scramble for the ball. That where everyone's piling in, fighting, trying to pull it out. So when the ref finally gets down there to the bottom, who's ever the strongest ends up with the football. It's it's that team's ball, even though he may have not, had it in the first place. Giants are saying their ball.
And so are the referees. So the initial response from the Cardinals was that they had recovered it, but the Giants maintained possession. And Bill Parcells can breathe a sigh of relief here.
89, Bavaro. Simply little check on Bell. Goes back across the center. Now notice this. He's got two guys on him. Clears them. And then comes by Junior, who also has him. And he's running for the goal line. And now he will fumble the football. Now it's a mad scramble to see who ends up getting it.
Might have been William Roberts. I'm not sure. The tackle. In any event, the Giants have it, and the Cardinal fans boo the call, but it's first and goal inside the 10-yard line. Bavaro with his 10th reception of the game. 128 yards. Best game of the year for Mark. Joe Morris fighting his way inside the 5-yard line, and this is where Morris, and now Tempest Blair inside, pointing. Lonnie Young and Leonard Smith, two hard-hitting safeties. It'll be second and goal at the 4-yard line, and an important drive for the Giants. Lawrence Taylor, I think, would like to get on the field and contribute something.
Well, he's shouting. He's encouraging his team. Obviously, the Giants are playing with adrenaline. They got it going now. The line's coming off the ball. They're running. They're throwing it.
Trailing by 10. Here's Morris. Down to the 2. Once again, Joe Morris has scored only one touchdown this season on the ground. 35 in the previous 2 years. And that time it was Lonnie Young and Nico Noga who stopped Joe. It'll be third and goal at the 2, and Harry Carson. Nearly 2 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter. Third and goal, and here's Joe Morris in for the touchdown. Only his second touchdown rushing of the year, and the Giants, who at one point were trailing 21-10, have now come back to 27-23.
And you can just sense the turnaround. You can just sense that the momentum is all of a sudden changed. The Giants are shouting and hollering and screaming and fighting and scratching and clawing.
Raul Alegre. Gene Stallings is trying to keep his club hanging in there. The kick is good, and it's now a 27-24 ball game. So that extra point looms large for the Cardinals. The Giants trail by 3. In St. Louis now 27-24 Cardinals. Vi Sikahema with a couple of great returns, including a punt return for a touchdown. Stump Mitchell doing the job on the ground for the Cardinals, and Phil Simms, the whole Giant offense through the air, and 12:52 remaining, Terry, in the ball game, and the Giants have shown some spark. First the defense and then the offense in the second half.
The defense came out, set the tone in the second half. We questioned whether they would. It spread to the offense, and now it's a Simms-Bavaro show with the defense playing good aggressive football.
Big play on that drive was the pass to Bavaro here.
Well, there's a fine job by Simms standing in there, pumps, kicks it back, and then Bavaro showing great determination as he makes the catch and takes it down, allowing Morris eventually to go in for the touchdown.
McAdoo, 2 yards in the end zone, returning for the Cardinals. And he is ganged up on just short of the 20-yard line. So the Giants, who trailed 27-21-10 and then 27-10 after Mitchell's touchdown, at the half have come back to within 3 points.
The Neil Lomax show has been a show of explosion in certain halves and certain quarters. Early in the year against the Cowboys for 3 quarters, nothing, and then over 200 yards and 2 touchdown passes to win the game in the fourth quarter. Today we saw him come out hot, and now we've seen him going cold in the entire third quarter. Look for him now to open it up and Neil Lomax to get hot again.
On the 18-yard line, first down. Gets rid of it in a hurry to Mitchell. And Mitchell is dropped. Mark Collins on the stop.
You know, Dick, that's a pass that Neil Lomax didn't really want to throw to the back. He wanted to throw the football down the field, but because of the pressure, he had to unload it. get it out and get it out of his hands to avoid a sack.
Leonard Marshall and his eyes, a determined defensive player who expressed his frustration yesterday. Lomax has only hit 5 of his last 13 passes, 2nd down and 10. Dumps it off this time to Broderick Sargent. Sargent close to a 1st down at the 29-yard line. Broderick Sargent, a second-year free agent out of Baylor. Both Sargent and Derek McAdoo, 2 free agents out of Baylor, and both long shots to make the Cardinals, made the team. Perry Williams that time made the stop. And let's see if we'll have a measurement. They're short by about less than a foot. The attendance here today at Busch Stadium in the final home game of the year for the Cardinals is 29,623. 29,000.
Well, you got to ask yourself, you know, maybe that's one of the reasons why Mr. Bidwell is given thought to leaving. He can't pack this place in. This is a baseball town, and the football Cardinals know that, and they don't like being second citizens around here.
3rd down and 1, you're right. And I remember a couple of years ago when the Cardinals had shown some good play early and did not sell out early enough against the Rams or the Redskins. 3rd and 1 at the 27. Taylor anxious to come in, and leaping over the top, Stump Mitchell appears to have enough for the 1st down. Well, earlier on the NFL Today, Will McDonough had a report indicating that he thought the Cardinals would not be leaving St. Louis because of a lawsuit that the NFL hopes to win. It's a confusing and complex situation involving the fact that the Raiders would have to pay because they moved from Oakland into an expansion city of Los Angeles. And the same situation would apply to the Cardinals in any one of the 3 cities they're considering, and they would have to pay also. We talked to Bill Bidwell, Terry and I, and we'll tell you after this play what he told us. 1st and 10 Cardinals at the 30-yard line. Here is Mitchell, and he gets just 1, and that's all. Well, Terry, we went down to Bill Bidwell's office, and he said he was aware of all of those ramifications concerning the fact that there might be some problem in moving and the fact that there might be some money changing hands, but he said that that was not going to be a factor in keeping him from moving if he wanted to move.
Well, he's a smart man, and just to consider going to Baltimore and all the time and effort that's been placed in that, he obviously placed us, and he understood that when he went over there to meet with the Baltimore people.
2nd and 8. A pass out of the backfield close to a 1st down near the 40-yard line. And Sargent on the receiving end. Banks having to be separated right now from Louis Sharp. And they're still trying to get the players away. There is Sharp.
One team looking for respect in the Cardinals. Louis Sharp showing that right there, showing the frustration that the Cardinals have experienced. Then on the course on the other side, the Giants showing the frustration of not being able to repeat and go to the Super Bowl. At least that's the way it looks this year.
Terry, when you win a Super Bowl, and of course no team has repeated since the Pittsburgh Steelers back in '79 and '80, and you know they're all coming after you. You know they're coming after you. What is your mindset when you're trying to repeat?
Well, it's very difficult to repeat in this day and time because of the money, and especially in New York, since they hadn't won in so many years, the pats on the backs, the books, the endorsements, everyone telling you how great you are. You have to start preparing to defend that title early in March and April, and I'm afraid the Giants really didn't get that going this year. It takes a lot of preparation to repeat. It's not something you can turn a key on, and it just happens.
1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Lomax, and the whistle had blown. Taylor picks up the ball, but Leonard Marshall will get credit for the sack, and Marshall may be shaken up.
Leonard Marshall, 70, coming right up inside. As you can see, Louis Sharp punches him and turns him over to Todd Pete, the left guard, and actually Lomax, sitting short like he did, played into the hands of Leonard Marshall that time. He didn't have to go deep. He went short to make the sack.
He hurt his left hand in making that play, and they're working on him over at the sidelines. John Washington, number 73, has come in for Marshall. Just under 9 minutes to go, fourth quarter, second down and 17 for the Cardinals on their 33. Play action, and Lomax drills it to J.T. Smith. He's got it. Into Giant territory to the 41-yard line. Good for 21 yards. Terry Kennard and Kenny Hill.
You have to give some thought to why the Cardinals threw the football when Leonard Marshall left. They cranked it up. Lomax play action, holding the linebacker, simple zone, and then the deep crossing route by J.T. Smith, getting underneath the safety Kennard, making the first down catch.
And a big first down by the Cardinals, who at one time had a 27-10 lead. Now they're in front 27-24. Still plenty of time remaining. On the Giant 40. Lomax handing off to Broderick Sargent, who's tripped up at the 35, picks up 5 on the play.
Sargent, the ball carrier. Tackled by Pepper Johnson.
Pepper Johnson on the tackle.
When you go and talk to Gene Stallings, they have what they call quality control. It's a little deal that prints out everything that's done over the age of time, when time and the earth was created. It's right there.
A long time ago.
You bet. And then the Cardinals, they have a little deal that says that you can run those little draws on first down inside the 50-yard line because the linebackers won't blitz. They didn't blitz. They ran the draw.
Second and 5, pitch to Mitchell. Sargent blocking, and Stump Mitchell spins his way for a first down and more inside the 25. Mark Collins and Kenny Hill on the play. He got 11 yards that time, and a big game for Stump Mitchell.
Miss Banks coming up from the outside in hot pursuit. Snap of the ball coming out, dodges one block, gets up, and now he's behind Stump Mitchell. He'll come in hot pursuit along with Leonard Mitchell, 70. Eventually, Kennard comes up. He tries to make the tackle. He misses.
Kenny Hill, who's a tough cookie, is shaken up and down on the field. Stump Mitchell has gained 90 yards on 20 carries. Keep in mind, his season's high was last week when he gained 101 yards against the Redskins.
Well, the Cardinals have found a running attack. Of course, with Earl Farrell being out with an injury, Farrell had 500 yards from a running back spot at fullback, and now Mitchell with over 500 yards as a halfback. That's a pretty good combination. You're going to see Hill coming up. There we are right there. Hill coming up, and of course his man, I believe that's, I can't see the number, but his own man actually comes underneath Hill, who's trying to make the tackle, and hurts him.
Might have been Mark Collins. But Hill is up and walking off on his own power. If the Giants lose this game, they are out mathematically in every way of any playoff hopes. If the Cardinals lose, they still are in the race, with the Vikings having lost today. Tom Flynn, the former Green Bay Packer, has replaced Kenny Hill at safety. First and 10 at the 24. 6:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. Cardinals lead 27-24.
Giants have to stop the Cardinals. They can't allow them to score.
Mitchell. Fancy move by Stump Mitchell. Picks up about 6 or 7 yards. And it's Mark Collins on the stop. And Mitchell is getting awfully close to that 100-yard mark.
So much for that Dallas move about showing everyone that you run to Mitchell and you run to Taylor. This time you're seeing the Cardinals actually running to the right, running at Banks, and having their greatest success.
Kenny Hill back in the ball game, had injured his shoulder, but he's back in there replacing Flynn. Time remaining in the fourth quarter. Second down and 2 for the Cardinals. Mitchell 3 yards away from 100. Inside, Sargent up to the 15-yard line, and Let's see where they spot the ball. Probably closer to the 14-yard line, and it's very close to a first down. See if we have a measurement on this play.
Dick, we don't see many third down, short yardage situations where we see a team come out and do play action passes. You know, Lomax is not the most nimble of foot, but this is an ideal time if you really want to blow a computer up and come out and do something that they have not shown. Play action, third down, third and short. I got a feeling we'd catch them by surprise. I also have a feeling that this is not something they're going to do.
They are short by about the length of the football, maybe less, and I think you called it a little bit when Lomax came out and the Giants had come back to 3 points, and you thought he was going to start to air it out and start to unleash his offense.
Well, you know, you never can keep that high state of performance. It comes and goes. You have a good quarter, maybe a good half, and then it goes down, and then you kind of regroup, and it comes back again. I sense now that, the Cardinals offense is certainly rising back up to the occasion, feeling good about themselves.
3rd and 1. Sargent will have enough first down, Cardinals. So if the Giants had to stop the Cardinals on this series from scoring, their task has been multiplied that much more. Now it's first down, St. Louis on the 12-yard line. 27-24 the score, and some scores around the league. The important game was the victory by the Packers over Minnesota. Philadelphia is out of playoff consideration. Big win for Buffalo and for New England. We have more. Pitch to Stump Mitchell. Mitchell inside the 10, close to the 5-yard line. The Redskins eliminated the Dallas Cowboys. The Rams stay alive. And they've been hot. Kansas City over the Raiders in the 4th quarter. The Steelers over San Diego. Tampa Bay. They could be in trouble and on the verge of being ousted if they lose their. Stump Mitchell has gone over 100 yards. He's got 105, his best day of the year.
And they're doing what they want to do. They're running the football. They're taking time off the clock, and they're advancing him down the field. Fixing to go in. Hopefully they think for a touchdown to put him away.
2nd and 3 at the 5-yard line, and Mitchell is dropped for a loss with under 4 minutes to go. Harry Carson making the stop. And that'll bring up a 3rd down for the Cardinals. 3rd and 5 for St. Louis. We want to welcome those viewers who saw the Rams beat the Atlanta Falcons today. The St. Louis Cardinals had a big lead, been cut for 3, and they have a 3rd down and 5 on the Giants' 7-yard line with 3:22 remaining in the 4th quarter. Neil Lomax, the quarterback for the Cardinals, on 3rd down. Can't find a receiver and goes out of bounds, but there is a penalty marker down as well. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw in a game that could mean the end of the playoff trail for the Giants if they lose. And for the Cardinals, they're trying to move a step closer to the Minnesota Vikings. Penalty was against the Cardinals.
Holding, as you can see there. Lomax anticipating man coverage in tight like this. Comes up and realizes he doesn't have man coverage. His route's no good. He has zone coverage.
Holding number 39, offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
Roderick Sargent, the fullback, was holding. It is now 4th down. And Al Del Greco comes in for the Cardinals. He's a new kicker who was picked up, former Green Bay Packer, and the Cardinals with 2 kickers on their roster, Gallery and Del Greco. Del Greco kicks the short ones. So the Cardinals, with a 3-point lead, will try to stretch it to 6 with 3:11 to go, and they held the ball for over 9 minutes on this drive.
This is no chip shot, even though that's what it seems to be, but he's already missed 1 extra point today.
27-yard attempt by Del Greco, and that extra point looms here. Del Greco's kick, no good. Misses off to the left. And a penalty marker is down. So let's wait and see. Jerry Markwright, our referee, and apparently it is against the Cardinals.
Illegal use of the body foul, tripping on the offense, penalty decline, kick is no good, timeout.
Well, Terry, the Giants held here.
Well, so much the Giants held him from a touchdown. The Cardinals should have gotten the field goal, and you can look and see Andy Head in 54 as he goes to static, realizing now all they need is a field goal to tie this game up, send it in overtime.
Giant ball, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Trailing by 3 with 3:08 remaining in the game. For the 4th quarter at least. Sims. Out to Bavaro, and Bavaro fumbles. And the Giants have it close to the 30-yard line, and they picked up nearly 9 on the play. Tim McDonald made the hit for the Cardinals.
Sims out scrambling. Bavaro standing up. Just standing there at the snap of the ball now. You see him check for the blitz, goes down, looks at the linebackers, comes across, notices pressure, then goes back against the grain and makes the reception.
2nd down and 1. And Galbraith, penalty marker down. Galbraith has the 1st down pending the flag. And the preliminary signal seems to be against the Giants. 2:31 on the clock.
Holding number 65 offense. That penalty is declined.
The Cardinals decline the holding penalty against Bart Oates and Billy Ard. They accept the one of the 2 holding calls. The Giants had 2nd down and 1. And now we'll have 2nd down and 11. The Giants at one time trailing 27-10 at halftime. They've come on in the 2nd half, but still trail. Sims swings it out to Galbraith. And Galbraith is tackled inbounds at the 24 by Gregory Johnson, and they won't get a play off before the 2-minute warning. Sims has hit his last 8 passes. And we have our 2-minute warning. The Giants still have 3 timeouts remaining. The Cardinals are in front 27-24. And Terry, Bill Parcells, of course, told his team this week that they were fighting for their jobs, if not a slim playoff berth.
And in talking to him, he just says, look, these guys know who they are. They know who they are. And we're all our jobs are on line here. He's coming back. Parcells will be back next year to coach his team. But he knows the guys out there who haven't been giving it their all, the guys that haven't really prepared this year. And he just said, I'll put up with it early. I understand, you know, the Super Bowl. But now I'm not going to do it. He says, fellas, it's off. It's off. Now, by golly, you either go out there and show and prove it to me, or you're out of here.
And something must have happened at halftime, because Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks came up steamed up in the 3rd quarter. And their defense set the tone, and then the offense picked it up. And the Giants, with touchdowns in the 3rd and 4th quarters, have shut out the Cardinals here in the 2nd half. We want to remind you, coming up next, 60 minutes, except on the West Coast. 2 minutes remaining. 3rd down and 6 for the Giants on their 24-yard line.
Who do you double? Do you double Bavaro? Do you double Manuel? Who do you double? If you double 2, you leave 2 single coverage.
Sims has Galbraith for the 1st down. Just made it, in fact, to the 32-yard line. Gregory Johnson on the stop. Clock continues to run, and the Giants in their 2-minute offense, and again, they have all 3 timeouts remaining. 1st down at the 31. Sims up the middle, and it's intercepted. Travis Curtis. The 5th interception of the year by Travis Curtis. He has 5 of the 12 interceptions by the Cardinals. The story of the game, the Giants special teams put him in a hole early. Vi Sekahema with a punt return for a touchdown and a long kickoff return for a score. It was 27-10 at the half. The Giant defense has shut out the Cardinals in the second half. The Giants have come back, but the interception by Travis Curtis may have been the final nail for the Giants. 1st and 10 Cardinals on their own 47, 1:35 remaining. Stump Mitchell gets to midfield, and this was the big play by the Cardinals defense.
For those of you who just joined us, this is the play. Giants were driving. Sims dropping back, trying to find Bavaro. 46 McDonald. He overthrows him, intercepted by Travis Curtis, number 20.
You're looking at a portion of the Cardinals secondary, particularly their safeties, Leonard Smith and Lonnie Young. Travis Curtis with a big play, but now it's 2nd and 7 for the Cardinals at midfield with 1:29 remaining. The Giants have 2 timeouts to go. Stump Mitchell and Pepper Johnson hits him, a loss on a yard on the play. It was Pepper Johnson with help from Carl Banks. And the Giants are forced to use the timeouts because of the interception on defense, and now they have 1 left. Following football tonight on CBS starts with 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote and the Hallmark Hall of Fame Foxfire. That's tonight on CBS.
Dick, if I were the Cardinal coaching staff, I wouldn't call a play where Lomax had to turn around and pitch the ball to anyone. If you saw the earlier game with the Cowboys and the Redskins, the first score the Redskins got was when Danny White turned around and pitched to Walker off the left, a fumble, and then set up the first touchdown by the Redskins. I wouldn't do that. If anything, I'd just take a snap by Lomax and get down on one knee if they're going to do that, because if they fumble that baby and they put him over the 50, they'll lose this football game.
3rd down and 8 for the Cardinals on their own 49. Giants have 1 timeout left. They give it to Mitchell. He doesn't make the first down, but gets good yardage, and the Giants will use their last timeout right here. Mitchell is stopped at the Giants 44 by John Washington. And the Giants are out of timeouts, but it'll be 4th down and 2 yards, and Horn will have to come in and kick. Well, the playoff scramble continues thanks to the Packers beating the Minnesota Vikings today. And now the Rams trail Minnesota by 1 game. If the Cardinals hold on and win this game, they too will be a game behind the Minnesota Vikings. But the Cardinals, if they end up in a tie with the Vikings, have a better conference record than Minnesota and would get the wild card berth. Now the Rams could also end up in a tie, but they would not get the nod. In any event, both the Rams and the Cardinals could win outright. There's still time. 2 games to go in the year. 4th down, and Horn is kicking. The Giants don't have anyone back. Penalty marker down, and we'll have a roughing the kicker call. They got Horn, and that's the 2nd time the Giants have run in to the Cardinal punter today. Special teams. The Giants, if they lose, it's the special teams that did them in today.
All-out effort this time.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, running into the kicker, number 82, defense, 1st down.
You're going to see Gregory Johnson, actually 27 of the Cardinals, block the outside rusher into the kicker, and that's what the Giants were hollering about. Mark Ingram, the guy that he went right over. All-out blitz, all-out rush by the Giants to get in and block this punt. But there's the block right there on Ingram that knocks Ingram into the kicker. Bad call, lousy call, terrible call.
Ingram called for running into the kicker. Earlier in the game, Adrian White ran into Horn. A more clear offense, penalty marker down, and the Cardinals just trying to use up the clock. The Giants are out of timeouts. a very tough call, and we did not get any whistle from upstairs to see if they were going to review the tape. In any event, we want to remind you that coming up next is 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast.
I'm surprised.
Encroachment foul, number 58, defense, first down.
That was Banks.
I'm surprised that the Giants didn't protest louder. You know, normally if a team screams and hollers and goes crazy, normally everyone Boatwright will stop action and go look it up. You know, you got to get these guys' attention. I'm surprised they didn't do that because they were in the right then.
Not much of a protest, and now the crowd standing. If this is the last game ever in St. Louis for the Cardinals, the crowd wants to see it come out with a W.
Well, the first game was with the Giants. Maybe the last game is with the Giants.
Well, it is. They lost that one in 1960, and this one they'd like to turn around. So the future of the Cardinals hangs in the balance. But as far as their football team is concerned, Terry, they're definitely alive mathematically in the playoff fight. With the Vikings losing, they're now a game behind. The Rams are in contention as well.
Well, I know the Cardinals' offensive line with Sharp and Robbins and these guys in there, Smith and Pete, have to be pleased with the effort they got today, not only protecting but blocking for Mitchell.
And that should do it. The Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles eliminated. Tampa Bay, if they go on and lose, also out. Green Bay stays alive, and so it finally is over. They are now the ex-Super Bowl champions. The Cardinals have defeated the New York Giants 27-24 in perhaps the finale at Busch Stadium in St. Louis forever. We'll be back.
The Cardinals had not been officially eliminated from the playoffs. All they've been this year is officially bad coming into this game as well. The most important thing was, would the St. Louis Cardinals be playing their last game at Busch Stadium in St. Louis? It appears that way, and the fans thought so as well because they stayed away. Will they be in Phoenix, Baltimore, Memphis, Jacksonville Cardinals? Who knows? But likely they will not be at Busch Stadium. Only minutes into the game, Sean Landeta punting for the Giants. Vai-Sikahema is back there to field the kick. And then he takes off running. Watch him burn the entire Giant squad, but watch Sean Landeta try to make the tackle along the sideline. It waves at him as he goes by. See you later. 76 yards on the touchdown. St. Louis leads at 7-0. Cardinals pretty much dominated the first half. Neil Lomax hits tight end Robert Awol, 20 yards on this touchdown, and he is wide open in the end zone. St. Louis led 27-10 at the half. Giants did improve in the second half. Bill Sims throws to Lionel Manuel, 17-yard touchdown, and he's open as well. Giants within 3, hit 27-24. Sims had to throw a lot in this game, as you can see. And in the waning moments of the game, Sims throws over the middle. Travis Curtis intercepts the ball here as he dives in to catch it. And the Giants are officially the ex-champions of the National Football League as the Cardinals win it 27-24. The Cardinals now 6-7 on the season. The Giants, that's right, as you said it before, Chris, 4-9. At Tampa Bay,